Welcome to Truth Uncompromised. I am your host, Rhonda. Join us every Thursday at 7 p.m. Eastern Time. Truth is peace. Truth is justice and freedom to love, live, and be. Music provided by SourceVibrations.com. I am love. I am peace. I am free. I have abundance. I have everything within me. For I was, for I am, for I always be. We are love. We are peace. We are free. We have abundance. We have everything within us. For we are, for we will always be. For Mother Earth is love. For Mother Earth has peace. For Mother Earth is free. For Mother Earth has abundance. For Mother Earth has everything within her. For she was, for she is, for she will always be. And so it is spoken. So it has been written, and it is done.
All right, family. Welcome to the Truth Uncompromised show. I am your host, Rhonda, and tonight is January 24th. We have a great show planned for you tonight. We are at the series about in Europe. So this series is the Forgotten Black Nobility and the Americas. So I'm really excited to do this. I know we've been making reference to it as we were doing the series on King James Book of Demonology. So we're really going to dive into the whole European melanated leaders, and we're going to start at the beginning where you're going to see how that particular lineage got to Europe. And then we're going to go all the way into how it connects to the Americas, which is really deep. It totally blew my mind away. Now, the reference that I am going to use for the show, one of the main references, we have a lot of other things we're going to bring into play, but I do want to send a wonderful shout out to a wonderful author, a brother named Lee Cummings. Lee Cummings, Cummings. He wrote a wonderful series called The Negro Question, and he has parts. It's a series. It's a book of series. Very, very easy read, family. The one we're going to be referencing is going to be The Negro Question Part 4, The Missing Link. It's 100 and something on pages, and then the Negro Question Part 6, the 13 Black Colonies. Also, a very short read, easy read. The brother laid it out. I highly, 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 highly recommend you get his books for your collection. He sells them on Amazon at a very, very reasonable price. I'm actually going to go back and pick up the rest of his books as well. But these two just knocked me off of my sock, and he really puts the pieces together with all of the research that we have been doing personally on Truth Uncompromised over the last 3-something years. It blends in absolutely perfectly. I do want to thank this brother for such wonderful work. Again, that's Lee Cummings, Cummings. The name of the books that we will be using tonight as reference material: The Negro Question. We're using Part 4, The Missing Link, and The Negro Question, Part 6, The 13th Black Colonies. These are just 2 of the books out of his series. I highly recommend that you pick them up on Amazon. Okay, so with that said, I'm going to bring in my other co-hosts, Brother Sean and Sis Sandra. I see them both. We have a lot to cover tonight, of course, as usual. It's a lot of doggone stuff jumping off. So let me bring on Brother Sean. Peace and love, brother. How are you?
Wholeness and power, sis. I'm good. How about you?
I'm well. It's good to hear your voice.
Likewise.
All right. Let me bring in Sis Sandra just a second. Peace and love, sis. How are you?
Oh, peace and love to you too, sis. I'm doing okay. I'm a little tired, but I'm good. How about you, brother?
I hear you.
Wholeness and power, sis.
I guess he answered well.
Yeah, he did. He said wholeness and power. Good to hear your voice, sis.
Thank you. Same here.
Okay, all right. So y'all know, as usual, it's so much doggone stuff going on. So we'll start with you, sis. Do you have any go ahead on with the fuckery that you would like to discuss tonight?
Good God, I'm going to have to take a notebook. You know.
I know. It's so much. It is so much. We're literally spending like an hour and a half on go ahead on with the fuckery in the news because there's so much stuff jumping off.
Well, you know, these people are play acting for us. They are just play acting. Pelosi didn't come up like a big revenger and what you call it, female Robin Hood for the poor, you know, and they're not really telling the truth because old Trump, like I said, is the foreclosure king, and he's cutting waste. He's cutting all the waste. Everywhere he cuts, he's cutting the waste. And she's pretending like she's going to help everybody. Well, you better help us to some money because I hear they're about to wipe out that dollar, and everybody's going to be looking around like they were retarded. But I came across an article on a Survivors update or something like that, and they said that in 1873 they devalued the silver dollar. That it wasn't worth. That was the first Great Depression that they had. So if they keep coming in here and putting up the fiat crap, and then they call it worth something, and now they want to reset. You know they're going to set it with the United States dollar. So I'm like, you don't have nothing to back it. So we're going to be in the same boat. We're going to be in the same boat that we're in now. And also, they gave us credit cards, and now the credit cards about to tank. So we got to stop using what they say use because it's no good for us.
Yeah,
It's just
I'm sorry, sis. I didn't mean to cut you off.
I was just going to say it was just absolutely no good. But go ahead.
Yeah, and, I'm glad you brought up about the whole devaluing of the dollar, etc. Because, of course, we've talked about that for years here. But, as I started to learn more and I started to learn the origins of a monetary system, that's when I started to evolve. And, even we got to go beyond this current corporate system. And just the series that we are getting into tonight with the start of the Forgotten Black Nobility and the Americas, we have to really be honest with ourselves and look back to see how a monetary system was even created. This is all a part of a European system that the black nobility started, particularly in Italy. And the family's name starts with an M. I'll pull it up in a minute. But they were melanated people that started the
Merovingians.
Merovingians, yeah.
Yes, the Merovingians. They started the monetary system. It failed back then, and it's going to continue to fail because it is against the natural order of things. So thank you for bringing that up, sis. So nothing that they're, quote, quote, doing, I'm not impressed with none of that bullshit because they have yet to prove where it is sustainable. It is not sustainable. That's why they built into their own system a 7-year bankruptcy, or what they want to call a jubilee, or and then the big ones they call a reset. So we'll get a little bit into that over just the nature of this series that we're doing. But great. Thank you for bringing that up, sis.
No problem. It's amazing what kind of garbage they keep trying to put out there.
Right. Brother
because,
Sean,
it's a monopoly cornering the market. They want to corner the market with anything they put out there. When the International Monetary Fund said that's a good idea, well, you better run. Because they didn't corner the dollar, already, that fiat currency. And now they're saying, oh, yeah, we need that. I'm like, oh, my God, here we go again.
Yeah, but and I think this time is so big that it's not going to be a here you go again. Because
do you
literally,
know, today I had to go out of town. That's why I'm a little tired. And there is the hugest planet that's sitting in the southwest next to Venus. I think that's Venus it's sitting next to. I've never seen a planet that close to another planet before. So it's huge.
What color was the planet?
It was white with the eyes, but it was red when I took a picture of it. So I said, where's that red spot come from? I don't even see it. But there's a big, huge planet. And I'm like, what? This was early morning. We left about 5:30 in the morning. And that planet, I said, I've never seen anything like that, with planets that close together. They probably could almost jump across on each other. It was just that, and it was huge. So Nibiru on his backswing is supposed to come on the west side. It's going to be on the west side, and that's what those telescopes in Mexico were, zero in on, that Lucifer telescope of the Pope. I'm sorry, brother, I'm taking all your time. But the Lucifer telescope was looking in Mexico and all that kind of stuff, looking at those skies, the southern skies, because they told us that Jupiter, I think BP Earth, said Jupiter was Nibiru to, throw people off. But, honey, there's a big old planet out there.
So,
huge.
Did you say you did catch what color it was, or you didn't?
I did. It was one not to the naked eye that was red.
Okay, it was red. Okay.
Yeah, and the other huge one was white, and then Venus was white. To the naked eye,
to the eye,
it's
to
white.
the naked eye. Yep. Mhm. Yep.
Yes.
Well, it's interesting that you bring that up because during the quote eclipse, I was literally outside, bundled up with my jacket. Yep, in increments, taking pictures.
And it didn't show up?
At first it didn't show up. But what had happened was about 3 times, you know how sometimes you snap a picture and it's not done processing the picture when you move the camera, so you'll see like a smear. Okay, so that happened to me, and so the moon light was like smeared, but guess what showed up right next to the moon?
What?
A black planet.
Oh.
And I can only see that black planet when the light of the moon was distorted. So that means the illumination of the moon is blocking out that black planet. And I'm like, oh, hell no. So,
wow.
Yeah. So it's, to me, this whole government shutdown is much deeper than what they're talking about. It's the astrological events that are happening on the planet. It is the plasma that is shooting across the sky that's trying to ground. If you look at YouTube videos across the country, actually across the planet, this plasma, they're hitting the electrical lines and catching them on fire. So to me, that's what the shutdown is about, because they don't want to have to answer for all of these events that's happening. And I'm just willing to bet that they are already in a position where they are using those safe havens.
Yeah, jumping ship.
Exactly. Yep. So before I go into what I want to go in, Brother Sean, did you have any go ahead on with the fuckery?
Yeah. Okay, they saying that the reason that the mass arrests haven't began, this dead man switch that the Democrats have, actually biological warfare that they had intended on using anyway. But now that they backed into a corner and the gig is up, guess it's just a matter of time unless Trump and his people are able to find out where it is. And they are also saying that 72 trillion came up missing from the Pentagon. Another 27 trillion that they say the Clintons may have gotten away with. I mean, they know it's fiat, so I can't see them actually hoarding that much fiat.
Exactly, and the numbers that they are saying that came up missing, add them together, they're code numbers. Right. So, which means completion. So, yeah. Okay.
But that biological warfare, I guess, that was supposed to take place over this next 8 years, had Hillary gotten in office, that Trump kind of interfered with that.
Mhm.
So the shutdown is also to, I guess, keep certain operatives out of certain places, enable for them to be able to pull it off.
Yeah, I heard that.
Yeah. Yeah, which is, probably accurate. It probably is accurate that all of that was planned, because we do know that they have been trying to jump off a war for years, and nothing was able to stick. The people weren't, because those things can only happen, as we all know, if the people put the energy in it.
Right.
And so the people aren't feeling none of that with that war, none of that bullshit. So that's why they can't pull these things off.
I want to mention something about currency. He mentioned the currency as a fiat, and I did too. So tell me, the million-dollar question is, how come people are selling gold for the fiat? If it's no good, why are they selling the gold to get?
They don't know that. They don't know that.
They're also
They don't
being
know
told.
it.
They're being told, though, that when the reset happens, that'll be converted over to real currency. That it'll be converted over to the new currency, and it'll actually be worth more, is what they're telling people.
Oh, the fiat will be worth more when it converts to the new currency?
No.
Is that what
when they convert
That's
it
what they
over
said
to the new
before.
currency.
That's what they said before.
It's the same old.
It's the same old game, right? It's the same old game. And again, if people are not well versed enough to understand that gold is more valuable, precious metals are more valuable than fiat, then it is what it is. And I'm going to take it a step further. If people don't enter and understand that being able to feed your family without those things, and to be able to drink water is more important than those things, then shame on them. Because again, we're in the age where there's no excuse not to know these things. These are choices that people are making. They are showing you every day what and how they feel about you. You're not a factor to them. Okay? You're only here for them to use your energy and use Mother Earth's energy, and the collective have allowed it to happen. I was just on Facebook and I put a post, because with this government shutdown, I'm still in awe that folks are still going into working for free. I'm just in awe over that. And I thought back to a couple of months ago when Kanye was crucified for saying slavery is a choice. And if going to work for free, where you can't even feed your family or pay for a place to live, you're working for free. If that's not the definition of slavery as a choice, I don't know what is. And then the slap in the face and the insult is the same people that made that decision, they're fucking getting paid. And folks aren't outraged about it. They're not outraged. And so everybody wants to know why these things are being done, because it's allowed to be done. Literally, I do not see outrage from the people getting up every day working for free. That's deep to me. That shows you how deep the programming goes, how deep the dependency goes. The government is a corporation, people. It has shut its doors. Just like any other one of us that's not working directly for the government as an employee. I said last week, employee equals slave. Go look it up in Black's Law. They're no different than any other corporation. You roll up in that mofo and they say, hey, I got to let you go today. For whatever reason, whether you done did something motherfucking wrong or whether you the stellar of the top of the top of the top. It doesn't matter, because you are not their interest. Their interest is to protect the corporation. And we have allowed these systems to stand, to have jurisdiction over us. And you're getting nothing in return. So that goes, if the TSA workers realize how much motherfucking power they have, they could ground travel across this country right now by walking off of them bitches. Haul all that shit. I don't give a fuck if nobody travel. You ain't motherfucking paying me. I'm out of here. Law enforcement, the army, all of that. They have the power. But they're choosing, they're giving their consent to be indenture servants, slaves. That's fucking deep to me. But yet Kanye was a motherfucking coon when he said a couple of months ago, slavery is a choice. And this shutdown is showing us that that's exactly the case. Instead of people just picking up, going on with their lives, breaking the dependency on the motherfucking corporation, mass as government, they're just sitting down. They're protesting. Folks are desperate. They go into food banks, waiting for their masters to turn back on the switch. And guess what? What if they don't turn back on the switch? What if they get rid of most of those jobs? See, these are the things that the age that we are in. Each individual has to make a choice. Do you really want to be a divine being in your own right, or do you want someone to rule over you? Do you want someone to master or lord over you? The choice is yours. So that's my go ahead on with the fuckery today. Now, as far as the actual shutdown, I don't want anyone to suffer. I've said that time and time again. Okay? But at the end of the day, you have to take care of self. This should be a huge wake-up call for all of the government workers. It should be a huge wake-up call for anyone that is depending on the government to eat as your main source of food. You got to get alternatives. And my main go head on with the fuckery is for the people that you get up every day out of your fucking bed. Get in your car that you got to pay gas and insurance, and if you have a car note on, drive to a motherfucking place that they're not paying you. That's indentured servitude. That's voluntarily slavery. When you can easily tell them, I'm not coming in that bitch. Matter of fact, I wouldn't tell them a motherfucking thing. Don't call me, none of that. I'm not coming in that bitch. I don't want to hear about no court order, none of that. It's not going to happen. But yet, people showing up every day. When they have the power, TSA can halt that bitch. They can stop travel in the U.S. just by not fucking showing up. But they don't have the balls to. Because they're comfortable being told what to do with someone lording and mastering over them. And as long as you have that mentality, then whatever they dish out, you deserve. So that's my go ahead on with the fuckery. I yield. So.
But the Republicans actually offered to give the workers some money, and the Democrats said no.
That's what I've been hearing. Yeah, that's what I've been hearing. Now, I didn't follow it closely enough, but it's just insane to me that a mofo gonna tell me, oh, we shut down, you ain't gonna get paid, but you need to come in. Who you talk? You can't be talking to my yellow ass. No, you talking to somebody else. Because I'm finna take my lunch bag and get my half ass right in my car and take my ass right home. That's what I'm finna do.
You have to realize they're being good corporate citizens. They're looking out for the wealth of the corporation, as you said. But
that's not looking out for the welfare of them.
Right, but it's the corporation. They live and die for the corporation.
Yep.
Stars for that with gold and silver. That's basically an agreed upon contract also. Because it's always been here. It's a part of the elemental church. It's
that
a
is
part
so
of
true.
us.
That's so true.
Gold and silver with the nuts. We've always had it here. We wasn't killing each other for it. Money.
Nope.
I mean, if we want to take it back to the time of quote unquote Inky and Leo, I mean, what nobody thinking about no goddamn gold till they start working, and everybody's like, oh, okay. Well, why the gods want gold? Oh, it must be something special. But I mean, it ain't shit either. It's a part of us. The real currency is our soul. The real currency is mama.
That's right. Period. Yep. So, and I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. Go ahead.
Once we stop placing a value on what's already ours, it's these other motherfuckers that try and make shit seem like it's worth more than what it is. Ain't none of it going no motherfucking way. As long as it's been around forever, we've been playing with this shit forever.
Exactly.
And now we acting like it's going to go somewhere and we killing each other over what's ours. It's these other people that think that this shit is going somewhere.
Exactly.
They the only motherfuckers going somewhere.
Exactly.
We just need to stop valuing anything that isn't in natural order.
Order. Absolutely.
So once we stop doing that, it don't matter what they try to do with fiat currency, whether they try and do a global reset. I mean, motherfucker, you might as well be sitting down playing a real-ass game of Monopoly. I mean, with the actual fucking Monopoly board, the paper,
right,
and the car, and the hat, and all that shit, because play that on your way to Gitmo or wherever else the fuck y'all going.
Right.
Because ain't no more motherfucking deals. And shit you can offer is all fucking ours already. You have nothing to offer.
Absolutely.
I don't care about y'all killing each other. I don't care about y'all locking each other up. Settling y'all debts, this, that, or the other. I'm sitting back enjoying the show. But guess what? After y'all finish doing what y'all got to do to each other, y'all still got the motherfucking doll.
That's right.
And anybody that still wants to be a part of that, I'm not gonna have the compassion to sit there. That's what she do. She got that heart like that in these matters. I don't. But y'all been some dirty motherfuckers. Y'all been fucking people up. And it was all for your job. Now the motherfuckers that you was loyal to, now you got to stand with the motherfuckers that you looked down on and spit on and took shit from. This shit is called karma. And guess who did it? You. You valued your job more than you valued people. You valued the system more than you valued mama. This is war. I don't have a sympathy for you. You dig? Maybe your God got it for you. But if he did, would you be fucked up like you are now? But y'all keep praying. You keep praying. You prayed that Trump wouldn't get no. But guess what? He there, ain't he? That means Jesus wanted him there. But you hate Trump. So that means you hate Jesus. That means you hate Allah. You get where I'm going, family?
Yes, I do, brother. Yes, I do. And very, very powerful. I mean, if folks are not getting it yet, that the way of a corporate system is dead, gone. You have to get back in balance with Mother Earth and realize that all of the financial system, all of that shit was a mere illusion. It was never needed and it never worked. If you cannot enter and understand that, then you're going to keep having a very difficult time because it's only going to get worse. Now, that's just their fucked up financial side. We haven't even begun to talk on the topic of what is going on the physical and cosmic side of this sky opening up, showing you that things have changed. Mother is physically showing you that things have changed. You can literally fucking take a compass. And I know Brother Remedy just recently did a video and showed you on his compass where the shit don't even point north no more. It's off kilter. And people still sitting up here playing, thinking that this old system and this old ways, and if you don't believe in this ideology, if you don't believe in this political way, then something you don't believe in this title, look, y'all keep motherfucking playing. Keep playing. Instead of going within self, putting your energy into self and taking care of self and your family. That's what's important here. All that other bullshit is just that. It's been a mere illusion. So those that don't want to be in tune, as this plasma keep popping across that motherfucking sky, and when it ground and start popping people in their asses, then it's going to be too late. Or as this planet continues to heat up, and you can't tolerate it, or as your nerves continue to be fried and you feel you're going crazy because you can't balance the new higher energy, I want that system to come and help you then. It's not going to help you then like it ain't helping you now. It ain't helping you with basic fucking necessities because you don't need it. You have everything you need. Mother Earth has always provided for you. But it was an illusion of a system and of money and of kingdoms and kingship, all out of fucking ego. Mother Earth, the universe, don't give a flying fuck about none of that. Yourself. Keep lying to yourself. And it's interesting, Brother Sean and Sis, y'all can't see it. I opened up the chat room, and we must really be ruffling a lot of nerves because somebody jumped on and called me all types of shit and then logged off the motherfucker.
Wow. I mean.
Yeah. So, I mean, it is. I find it funny.
Was that a hoodoo hanger on her?
I don't give a fuck if it's hoodoo, moodoo, voodoo. I don't give a fuck. Because all of them niggas that was talking that bullshit, can they help you now? If your snap got cut off, can you go to them motherfuckers to feed your family? If you need your Section 8 paid next month, can you go to any one of them motherfuckers to keep a roof over your family's head? So I don't give a fuck about none of what you motherfuckers are saying. Because I stood in truth then, and I'm standing in motherfucking truth now. And the universe is proving my fucking point. All of these fake-ass messiahs, these conscious Negroes can't do shit for you. But pimp you, use you, and abuse you. That's exactly what they have done. Where are them bitches now? What land do they have for you to take your goddamn babies to feed you? Them bitches don't even have that. So I don't give a fuck. But thank you for confirming that a sister is right. Because I got mine. Goddamn, get yours. Now go troll on that. So, all right. So we're going to go to 832. Let me see.
That's it, sure.
832, peace and love.
Oh, no, that's brother.
Yeah, hey, brother.
My sisters from other misters.
Hey, brother.
Feathers up in 2019.
Feathers up.
Feathers up.
Sean, my brother, from another mother. some serious thunderbolts tonight.
Wholeness and power, bro.
Let me co-sign 100%, but I'm just gonna let me close it. We might need to do a movie review, Rhonda.
Okay,
Before I get on.
thing, brother.
House Resolution 204. Are you hip to that? Can you pull up a browser right quick?
You said 204.
204. This is something repeatedly introduced by a white N-word, Alabama Representative Rogers, Republican. It's a quick summary.
I see it.
This bill repeals the United Nations Participation Act of 1945. The basic title of this bill is the American Sovereignty Restoration Act. It has been reintroduced the first day of Congress, January 3rd, 2019. Now, before I say anything, could you please share with the family, what does Nasara mean to you, or Sean, or Sandra? Nasara, Jasara, you commented briefly on the reset, global currency reset, or whatever else you want to refer to it as.
Yeah, that was that independent nationalist, nationalist people who were the farmers. Land was taken by the government, and they filed suit against the government for doing all that kind of stuff, and your housing. I haven't read it in a long time, so bear with me if I forget it. But the housing. Everybody who has a home is supposed to get reimbursed for the fact that they've been cheated in their mortgages and stuff like that. And Nasara is a government agency, and that's what I found out. I'm saying, how in the world is a government agency trying to help people get back what the government is making them pay for and all that kind of stuff? But I remember something about the farmers, a couple of farmers who they took their property from. The government did. Am I correct?
Yeah, they call it the farmer's claim. They also have a so-called Native Americans claim. But the acronym is National Economic Security and Restoration or Reformation, whichever R word you want to use, Act. And Jasara is replaced national with global. Okay? Now, the unfortunate thing is all that y'all were discussing as the fuckery for tonight and our moral outrage. What is the sovereignty as an issue? This is what's intriguing to me. Now, this is my little 2 cents. This is called the American Sovereignty Restoration Act of 2019. The Americans, not the United States, I stress, the American
it sure does.
And Restoration Act. Okay? Who is the American, Rhonda?
Well, it is the indigenous aboriginals.
You see what rabbit hole we about to climb down now? If we talk about the paper? Yeah, I'm sliding in a little movie review along parallel tonight. But you know what? And I'll just point out some things. You can correct me at any time. You, Sandra, Sean. No government is sovereign. Sovereignty is bestowed upon the birth of living beings. And
tell it, brother.
Could include animal life, by the way, or plant life, or
I'm in agreement.
The creator of all, Mother Earth.
I'm in
as
agreement.
in the land is sovereign. Okay? So who the hell are these European demons reclaiming sovereignty? From who?
Exactly.
For who? Now, I keep hanging in the air that question, who's the American you're talking about? And I stress now, not the United States. Okay? First and foremost, the United States is not a nation. Dane has done a very good documentary about that. If you haven't seen that, it's one of his most recent ones, talking about the context of nationality. Okay? Being very specific here, just as you've been pointing out in your monologue or diatribe early in this call. The 50 individual states or nations, because those 50 started with the original 13 colonies that were not agreed to by how many uncivilized tribes are there?
Woo!
Because they love to pull out the 5 civilized tribes.
Exactly.
Right?
We don't know how many the quote uncivilized there are.
Okay. Now, by the way, those 5 uncivilized tribes is in reaction to 1830 Indian Removal Act. So we're talking about a cool 2 centuries after the first treaty, if you're not aware, in 1613 with the Iroquois Confederacy and the Dutch. Are you hip to that?
Yes, I am. Bring it, brother.
Just recently recognized in 2010 by the Queen of Canada, a la Queen Elizabeth, that old ancient decrepit thing. Reinitialized, or I should say re-recognized in 2010 the 1613 treaty with the Iroquois. Now, by the way, Iroquois is not a tribe, right, Sean? It is a confederacy of 5 or 6 nations. Right. Seneca being one, Mohawk being one, for example.
That's right.
Okay.
Yes, tell it.
But again, in no disrespect to our ancestors, in my little perspective, those are still renegades. Okay?
We on the same page.
5 or 6
indeed.
Out of how many hundreds? Not in agreement.
That's right. That's right.
Okay, so from 1613 to 1830 is how long? 217 years.
Yeah, okay, you beat me to the math. Yes.
Well, but there is still, if you believe Jay Winter Nightwolf, I've talked to you about this interview before, what he did with Farrakhan, and his, again, these Native American, Mongoloid, Caucasian hybrid mixes, said that they have broken over 627 treaties. Yep. And again, that's with renegades. Okay? So they have broke contracts with the renegades that they negotiated with who did not have authority. I know you know that there's a point to what I'm making here about.
Yeah, no, you're doing beautifully.
Hey, bro.
Whose sovereignty? Yes, my brother.
Before you finish, keep this in mind. U.S. citizen ain't gonna be on the 2020 census. So,
and neither will Native American. They're removing the term Native American too.
Oh, I didn't know that. Whoa.
Now, as far as for who's going to be called American, what year and what dictionary are they going by? Because they're going to have to specify that.
You already know what Merriam-Webster said in 1828.
Right, but we know that they're going to run as far away from that as they can. And in today's dictionaries, it also includes them. Just those of European descent. It don't say nothing about nobody else. So that means all these other little foreigners that came over here thinking they was going to replace us, coming over here being good slaves. You know, y'all got to put on there where you from, what tribe, this, that, or the other. So, I mean, as soon as you tell them the truth that they already know, you go.
And you know that now they're backtracking, saying that they're dropping the blood quantum percentage to prove tribal heritage, and I just bust all the way up.
Okay, but let's point out 2 facts that he not only is correct in that. If I'm not mistaken, Sean, we need to get that official copy. Negro is removed, and black will no longer be authorized without stating descriptively, same as white.
That's what
Where
I heard.
Where are you saying you originated from? From Africa and or Europe which nation, not a landmass.
That's
which
right.
nation. Now, if we couple that with one other fact here, and this is a key point, because again, these descriptors are them describing us. Okay? Merriam-Webster described the American as the aboriginal copper-colored race. They use the term race.
That's right.
Copper-colored race.
That's
they
right.
use the term race. In 1830, they removed us off our land. Keep that in those two things in context. Secondly, and here's a very important thing, because as I pointed out with that first treaty in 1630 and the Iroquois Confederacy, according to J. Winter Nightwolf, the so-called original organic constitution was the culture vultures co-opting the Iroquois Confederacy's document that they made the United States Constitution based on. Number one. Number two, in 1793, the so-called Moors and the Treaty of Peace and Friendship, that was a granted charter from the Prince of Morocco for the Carolinas. For the Carolinas, before they were broken into North and South. And they did what, Sean, with the Sundry Act? They said, don't you treat me like no damn Negro. So who the hell is a Negro?
That's right.
Who
That was
the hell is a Negro?
That's right. Tell it now. Tell it.
It's not an African. It's not a Moor.
Nope.
And those were Iberians. What we call what we call Spaniards today, those are Iberians. So these Iberian/African Moors who brought these European Caucasoid demons to my land, who then said, if I run afoul of your law, meaning under this so-called United States Constitution, that is unlawful, government was in breach with the aboriginal inhabitants.
Right.
Again, the few renegade, less than 5 or 6 nations, negotiated with some criminals from Europe. And this is their story. This is not mine. I'm repeating their story. So you have renegades of our people negotiating with criminals of their people. And if you believe Taj and these other so-called prolific Moorish scholars, those dirty renegade Moors were in cahoots with the European criminals. So we got 3 groups of renegade, outlaw, criminal individuals negotiating a contract with so-called honor among thieves, I gather. And according to these native Mongoloids, who are the ones that have a contract with these European Caucasoids, they have broken 600 plus, including the United States Constitution, which is a fabrication off of a original inhabitants documentation.
Right.
And they have broken each and every one of them. So I thought you said karma's a bitch, Sean. Sounds like it's compiled, written, and documented by them.
It's true. It's true.
Now let's lay on top the American Declaration of Rights for Indigenous People, which again we know does not bestow me rights.
Right.
All it does is enumerate the unending violation of these people.
Exactly.
So you take that with the House Resolution 204 just introduced. Now, I don't know if it's been passed or not, whether it's been passed or not, according to the legislation. It will take effect 2 years from the date that it was submitted. So if this has been passed in the dark of night, you know how they do their salaries at midnight on Friday, right? When they pass legislation to increase their pay while they're depriving 800,000 people of pay as we speak. And by the way, the members of Congress are receiving their pay. Let's not get this twisted. Understand, every elected member of Congress is receiving their pay. So on Friday, January 11th, did they not print out every check to every employee saying 0.00? Didn't they do that, son?
Yep. They sure did. That shit blew my mind.
So tomorrow, are they going to do it a second time? Because the week is already up.
Right.
The week is up. How much do you think that costs in just stamp, post, and mailing alone? Envelopes.
True that.
Printing a piece of paper that's been told you now, not once, but twice. The shit is worth what, Rhonda?
Nothing.
0.00. Okay? I have said all this. I know I'm wandering just a bit here to ask
you
again.
You're bringing it.
What and whose sovereignty are we speaking about?
Damn,
now, I'll wrap up and yield on this. Who is an American? Again, I am using their language, which is foreign to me and my kind. Merriam-Webster's Dictionary in 1828 says an American is the aboriginal copper-colored race. That is who American is. But they then have stretched it by including the term native to state that Europeans born here. Here's the problem. And I want this very clear as we wrap this up. In the so-called organic constitution, there are only two populations identified. I stress this heavily, and we'll get back to this with Dane. I hope to God you can extend an invitation to him, my sister, and have him on the show. White, male, free, over 21, land owning. Repeat that one more time again. Only citizens described in the United States Constitution under this corporate entity is white, male, free, over 21, and land owning. Okay? You know the other population identified in the United States Constitution? Indians not taxed. Sean, please. Who the hell is that? Sean, my brother. Who the hell is that?
You already know.
Yep.
And if you're not taxed, that means you don't fall under jurisdiction, correct?
That's correct. That is correct.
If you are not taxed, that means who is the original inhabitant? I'm using this to be colorful, but to be descriptive.
Right.
If you are not taxed, that means you are here in violation to Mother Earth, to my homeland, to my ancestral blood that has been shed, lynched, bombed, castrated from your first standing foot here in 1492 to this very moment in time. You are in violation. I don't give a shit how long you've been here. I don't give a damn how many times you were born. Your ancestors originated from somewhere else. Your being born here does not make you an original inhabitant. You follow me? And in parting, there is only, remember in the Highlander? I know I'm sneaking another movie review in here, my brother, my sister. There can be what, John? Come on with me now. There can be only one. And I yield.
All right. Thank you, brother. Thank you, brother. Peace and love. Thank you, brother 832. Shit, you laid that out. I don't have nothing additional to add. You laid it all the way out. Let me bring on 215. I think this is Sis. 215, your line is open. 215.
Me? Can you hear me?
I can hear you, sis. How are you, sis Lioness?
I'm well, thank you. I'm really well, thank you.
Good. Peace and love.
Hi, everyone. 832, you were talking everything, okay? Everything. I'm proud of you as usual. However, I just want to say we don't have to deal with them. It's all done. Trust yourself. in the confidence of knowing who you are and that all of this is being corrected. That's what I want to add to this, because some of the things that I was going to say may be a little bit different than 832. However, some of the same things, it's all going to be uncovered and is being uncovered. That's why it has to play out this way. And for those worried about the money, please stop it. And I'm glad to hear the uproar from your voices, from your hearts tonight. Although, Sean, I couldn't hear everything that you were saying, and 832's was a little bit muffled, but I got all of what he was saying. It's over. You're not gonna. That government is not coming back up, Sandra. So tell your people it's not coming back up.
I don't think it is. Yep.
And it's not about a government, and it's not about getting handouts, and it's not about money. That's little pieces of shit that's in there for the interim, for people who do not want to, from week to week and month to month, understand that if they get something, when people are telling them, or they're doing their own work to get to understand what's happening, because they have come to know thyself and from whence you came and where you are going, because you don't have to go no damn place and you're going to be fine. But if you don't feel it and if you don't know it, you're going to keep talking about they. Stop talking about they. Talk about you. Talk about the goodness in you. Talk about your heart. Talk about what you know from whence you have come because of the return of that. And that's where you're going to be. You don't have to worry a motherfucking thing about nobody else but you. And you're good, you're wonderful, you're whatever those words you would like to use and put on somebody else. In the reverse, put more than that equivalent. You don't even have to put it. Just be it. That's all we've been saying this whole time. But these are the steps to get to that point. To unrun, to unveil, to peel back the onion, to get back to, 832, the one. And there can be only one. And those of us who are that one, that's where you're going to be, because that is what you are. If X equals X, it will always equal X, and it's going to equal X because it is X. So stop worrying about all of this stuff. Stop it, please. And this is my motherly thing saying, stop it. We're not supposed to say that, but those of the partial judgment piece, we can say it. Because if the other stuff is being handled over to the side because you can't or won't or didn't understand it this whole entire time, and we all gave up something to get to this point, every last one of us. Some way, some shape, some kind of something, okay?
Yep.
So if we're here now, no matter which way you got it in your head or in your heart, go back to your heart. Go back to your heart. And if you think you're so great and that somebody took something from you, then understand that you're that great and you're going to get it back. So stop keeping giving it to them, because that's why it's taking so long. Because we're doing it. We're doing it, and most of it is done. But all of it's not done, because we keep hearing you say, they. And we're sick and fucking tired of it, too, because we're working for each and every one of us, and we're at the crossroads. But you have to continue to lift up your spirit and your veracity and your vibration, because there is only one, and you're it. I'm saying this with great love and upliftment. You're it, of positivity. Forget about them. They're gone, and that's why they're scrambling. But this ain't coming up. And the things that are not coming back that maybe are effective and efficient for those of you who are going to stay within the way that things are, IRS and the rest of them, they were frauds in the first place. They're not coming back. They know it. You don't believe it.
Exactly.
And there's some other things, but I'm not going there. But in the course of Rhonda, with the topic that you're beginning on now and the topic you just ended, because, again, I was away for 3 weeks, so I did not hear those things. But what got ushered in the other day is clarity. And look at what this is all about tonight, is bringing clarity to things. It's not that anybody is against anybody else, because if it is, then you have to carry that being against somebody. You have to carry that because it's about your character. It's about your character. And that's the only ones who are going to survive all of this, your character, your love, your ability to love, your ability to think, and your ability not to wonder, oh, what's this man doing to me? Well, you know what? Forget about that man doing something to you, because a man is a male and a female. But the things are going to be fine. They are fine right now. And celebrate. And celebrate yourself first. And then the other things of which you are going to create. But if you keep giving your power, your strength, your abilities to someone else, you're not going to ever get there. And every week you're going to talk about the same thing. And again, frankly, we're tired of it. And we're waiting to assist you to greatness again. There's everybody here ready to help, but everybody got to help, even the ones who were here before, who are relinquishing their whole thing, and they know it. That's why they can hold on and say, I'm not letting that man come into doing the State of the Union, because he was going to tell you the rest of the story. But all you want to do is talk about him. Well, talk about him, but he's not the only thing here. You're the thing that's here. You're greater than he, okay? But he's here to assist you to be greater than you are at the moment, because you don't know who you are. And I love you all. Thank you. That's it.
I love you too, sis. And God Thompson 42 in the chat room says hello to you. And peace and love to you, God Thompson 42.
Thank you. And just be open, y'all. Be open, because it's already started. And you're being showered with the prelude to your blessings, whatever they are to you, whatever it is that you want, because you got what you need.
Yep,
okay.
Really do.
I'm out.
Okay. Brother Sean, you have something for Sis Lioness?
Hi, Sean. Love you.
You leaving us?
Because
we have to talk offline, okay?
Okay. All right, sis, I'll put you back on mute. Okay. Peace and love.
Okay. Bye-bye.
All righty. I'm sorry. Go ahead, sis.
I said she's absolutely right. He's doing a favor for all of us, because what he's doing is he's the closer. He's the one who's shutting it down, and he has the, balls of steel to stand there and take all the heat. And they put him there, like you said, sis, they put him there for this particular purpose.
Right.
And so it's helping us become more independent and ready to face who we really are and to survive the downturn of them, because we're going to have to survive with our own thoughts of knowing that we can.
Right. And I see you 347. I'm coming to you. Absolutely. I said out the gate with Trump card that he was going to play both sides of the house. I enter and understood from a spiritual perspective that he was put into play as the higher dimensional energies were taking over. I understood that from a spiritual perspective. Now it is being shown to you, it is being manifested in the physical with the quote shutdown. Now, and I want to say loud and clear, and let's be clear, that shutdown ain't for everybody. That shutdown is for people that just do not want to let go of the goddamn illusion.
Right.
That's what the shutdown is for. And it's okay that they don't want to let go of it, because now they're not going to have a choice. It's breaking the dependency strings that I have been talking about for quite some time now. And that's going to force people to rely on self. It's going to force people to really think, what am I doing on this planet? You mean to tell me I've been living my whole existence on this planet just to feed and clothe myself? And now that ability has been taken away from me? It's going to force people to look at things in the pure, universal law standpoint. If they want to survive. And if they do not survive, then that was not meant for them to survive this particular cycle. None of this shit is difficult. None of it is difficult. It's just the way folks' perspective is from waking up out of the illusion. That's all. Yes. Go ahead, Brother Sean.
As far as for these corporate agencies that are affected by this shutdown, look at how intricate a role all of those agencies play in the human trafficking. I mean, for all these children to be getting shipped places on airplanes, somebody at TSA dirty. Now, I mean, whether you're talking about the CIA or whatever other alphabet is affected by the shutdown.
Right.
They was in on all that. Now, we sitting up feeling sorry for a bunch of pedophiles and organ harvesters and some of the worst of the worst. I mean, sometimes it's guilty by association. I mean, people got to be accountable. If we're in the age of knowing, why would you continually work somewhere or do something that you know is hurting your people? I mean, I understand the whole compassion thing. That's what we do. That's what we did that's what some of the ancestors did when the motherfuckers came over here. We helped them survive instead of letting them die. We being compassionate now. But where is the whole love for self and mama? If we are wholly and soulfully loving mama and loving each other, we ain't got time to focus on none of that bullshit.
And that's the truth for real, That's the truth for real, because as I said last week when I played the Nigerian brother, Fela Kuti, the musician, his song Zombie was shouting out to the military that was carrying out the orders to do what they were doing against the people. So that same concept still applies here. So all of the alphabet gangs, all of the military, those that are, and those that are creating these weapons of mass destruction, okay, those that are pushing the buttons behind the scenes that are harming the people. I'm not talking about the frontline folks 9 to 5 who are just sleep and don't enter and understand what's really going on, although they should, but that's a separate story. I'm talking about the people, you in the military, you support and you uphold the military, the industrial complex. You uphold that. You in the Alpha Bed Boy gang, you uphold that. The quote they, and I'm glad Sis Lioness came on and dropped them jewels with that they.
Mm-hmm.
It would not have been possible for that to have been done without the servants following the orders. And accountability has to take place and will take place for those folks. So no, you're absolutely right, brother Sean. When I say my sympathy, I'm only speaking of, and I know you're not necessarily pointing this out to me. I want it to be clear. I'm only speaking of the frontline people that really don't have a clue, although they should. I'm talking about the people that really do the dirty work. You have to be held accountable, and you will be held accountable. Okay? Because no one is escaping judgment. And I have to send a shout out to Brother Kalai, because he say this all the time. No one's escaping judgment. That's melanated people, Caucasian people, all will be held accountable. Where were you within the defense of Mother Earth? Where were you with living within the universal laws for harmony on Mother Earth? Okay, so no corporation can get you out of this, because shit, they scared and on the run. Because that plasma up in that sky and the energy centers / planets, they're not showing up just to be fucking showing up. This is totally changing. The poles are physically moving. So this is judgment time. Get in tune or get the fuck on.
Rhonda, those people who are not aware of what's happening, they should look and check the skies out and see what the last time they saw them red and orange and purple. I mean, that's not natural.
Well, and we can't even just put it on them. Hell, folks that sit up in church every day and shit, they read the shit that's going on.
Oh yeah, they don't even believe it's happening.
Don't even see it.
I'll be laughing.
They don't even see it. They don't even recognize it.
No, they don't.
That's the sole purpose of most of them going to church. It's so that they would be ready, quote, quote, for judgment. And they don't even see the signs. They don't even recognize the seal.
You know what gets me about churches? They looking for Satan to come, and they give a description of who he is, right? He's going to be like a roaring lion going to and fro across the earth, seeking whom he can devour. And he's going to kill, he's going to steal, and he's going to destroy. That's what his description is, right? So if people just take a second, just a minute, who goes across the earth killing, stealing, and destroying? You're looking at it every day.
Right.
They don't pay attention to that.
Right. Right. So this is Armageddon for all, because it really shows, like Sis Lioness said, about your character, which is about your soul. If you can get in the plane and spray the sky, if you can see folks starving and you have the power to provide. This is telling a lot about your character and about your soul. If you can know the truth, but you piss with those that are telling the truth, and you try to sabotage it and block it, for whatever your reasons are, whether you're getting paid, it really doesn't matter. That is a judgment and reflection on your soul and your character. So you don't have to explain it to me. You motherfucking explain it to the plasma in the goddamn sky. And the plasma underneath your motherfucking feet. That's who you explain it to. Explain it to that energy. So, very good points. Okay, 347, thank you for being patient. Let me bring you in. Thanks for being patient. Sorry about that. 347, your line is open.
Oh, I just give thanks. Peace and love to you, my beautiful sister Rhonda. How are you?
Peace and love. I'm well, beloved. How are you?
Great, fantastic. Energized, yes. Peace and love to the panel. Peace and love to the guests. And I was definitely pleased to hear Linus on the line.
Yes.
And I was definitely pleased to hear her bring us back to the center point, to the getting to the one, to the fact that it's the energy and what are you focused on. And
that's right.
I tell you, we're dealing with the known and the unknown. And because of that, and even before I continue with that, I have to share the confirmation that I got in the wee hours of this morning.
Okay.
I went into this realm where I'm looking around and all the clocks are blank. All those boxes that they send you with your cable vision and all that, they were blank lines on them. Telephones were just in automation. I also saw coming toward me quite a few threes in different rows and I mean almost creating a lotus type look. And I also saw this, which I can't even explain except that it looked like a rocket with a long nose, and it was red, orange, and a yellowish color in it. And the look of it was like one of those pointy-nosed fish that, we may not be too familiar with. But all in all, to me, that was the confirmation. It's done. It's done. There's no coming back. There's no changing it. It's done.
That's
and
right.
now back to that major point that Linus brought to the floor, the energy, getting to the one. See, here, right, as I said, we have the known and the unknown. And guess what, though? Within us, it is known. So, you know that old saying, monkey see, monkey do? Mm-hmm. So I told Michael Jackson on you, look into the mirror.
Yeah, that's right, the man in the mirror.
All right? What you see is what you get. So just be careful what you're looking for. Never mind pointing that finger, because how many coming back at you? But the confirmation is on, the energy and the focus. You can't use your energy to destroy and to build at the same time. You do one or the other. Which are you going to do? And on that note, I say peace.
Oh, wow. Thank you, brother. Peace and love. Peace and love. Very, very powerful message, and it's much appreciated. Thank you for coming on, sharing that with us, and thank you for being so patient and waiting on the line for us. Okay, family, I knew that was going to take a little longer, but it is what it is. That's how so much it's jumping off. So, just as a reminder, I do want folks to, take a moment to pay attention to what is going on in this physical realm from an energy perspective. Mother Earth is showing you that she is cleaning up with the things that are going on in the sky. Like I said, Brother Kalai does an excellent job covering the sky. You have other folks that are recording the sky. You have plasma popping all over the place. You have the magnetic poles that are moving. And more importantly, be centered. And you should be feeling within yourself what is going on. No one should have to tell you. You internally should feel the energy, the high level energy, where your energy is jumping all over the place, where you can't sleep, where you're barely hungry because there's so much energy going on, where you feel that the illusion of time is shattering, and where they have to admit themselves that it has sped up, okay? That's because the vibration is rising, okay? Now is the time again to divorce yourself from the rigmarole with what they are talking about, the they, because the they are gone. I said that last year that the they are gone. I said it last year that most of the people that you see that you think are running things are dead. It's time to go within. You are the creator. You have to create the world you want, because the illusionary world is being brought down. And if you can't be with self, live with self, sustain self and illusion, you will be lost. And that's not who you are. You are a strong, divine being, a strong, divine, infinite being that is having a physical experience in this particular realm. You have everything you need to be whatever you want to be. So, okay, so we're going to get into the main topic tonight. And again, this topic, it'll still tie into everything we have been speaking on, the Forgotten Black Nobility and the Americas. So I'm speaking of the nobilities, Black nobility of Europe. Now, 832, that's why he's my brother. I'm just so proud of him. He has just really, really grown spiritually. And he's always been very highly intelligent and knowledgeable. Now, he brought up the Iberians, and that's the topic we're going to get on tonight. Okay, so we're going to start from the standpoint of these group of folks that they're calling, well, who the Moors call the Moors, who ruled Spain for 700 years, right? And a war broke out, whatever, this, that, and the third. And they got overthrown. And they ran out of Spain. Those that are not familiar with Europe, I would encourage you, if you're following along, to pull up a map so you can see the close proximity of these places, and it'll make a lot of sense to you. So now this is, and I'm like Brother 832. These are not Rhonda's words. These are the documented evidence of those that have documented the Moorish, and I hate to say Moorish because ish means not really, but the Moors, so let me correct that have documented the Moors' kingdom, okay, that they ruled Spain for 700 years, were defeated, and so where they went was into Iberia. Okay, so let me pause right quick. It's this, Brother Sean, did y'all have something to put on it before I go into it? I've been talking so damn much.
I have trouble with that history because when the Moors went into Spain, there was also some of us who went over here from there to fight them and fight the Arabs. So the Abavids, I think that's how you pronounce their names, their last names, are the two brothers that were the white European Arabs that went into Spain and started fighting and beating us down and stuff. And so and then that rule, I believe, started the 711 years. I'm kind of confused on who did the 711 years, because Solomon the second or the first went over, the second I think, went over from here, and David went over from here to fight the Arabs from taking over Spain. So
okay, so where are you getting your information from?
I was given it from Amir Ahu, and then I looked at some of the history of Spain and the Moors and all that kind of stuff. I think Amu Ahu, he's a brother that does a lot of the Indian and the history of the United States. And when the two nations broke apart, the Iroquois and the Toltecs, because the Iroquois went off on a tangent with the colonists and stuff, and the Toltecs didn't agree with it.
But what does the Iroquois have to do with Spain?
No, nothing. I'm not talking about this Iroquois at all. The Toltecs.
Okay, so who went to Spain to fight whom?
Well, as far as the history was concerned, it was Solomon the first or Solomon the second when I went under the protection of Nehemiah to Europe, and they went over there and fought the Arabs who was taking over Spain.
Okay, so where are Nehemiah and them coming from?
They were coming from over here.
You talking about that brother Karimo or whatever his name is?
Amir Ahu. He has a Spanish accent, and he's very good at pronouncing words.
Yeah, I think I know who you. I know who you're talking about. But he's also on that Hebrew Israelite thing. He part of that King Drop Nation, and know they coming from the Bible and all
he's
that
not.
type of stuff. Oh, that's not him.
No.
And the reason I'm pausing because I want to understand. Now we're talking Spain, right?
Right.
We're not talking South America. We're talking Spain.
No, some of them went to South America.
I'm not talking South America. I'm talking
Spain. Okay, we're talking Spain, yeah.
So I need to understand, why would some of the indigenous people go to Spain? Why? What would be the purpose of our indigenous people going to Spain / Eurasia to fight?
Because they lost over here.
But wait, that doesn't make sense though.
Well, because when the Iroquois...
It's two separate places. The Iroquois don't have nothing to do with what we're talking about right now. I want to know why these individual people, and if this brother, and I'm only drilling you because I'm drilling his information.
Right, of course.
Why would they go to someone else's home to fight?
That's a good question.
Exactly. I rest my case. So now I am.
But
See,
you know what they said.
I'm sorry. Go ahead, brother.
What I also wonder about that whole narrative as far as for the Moors conquering Spain.
Yeah.
Who were the indigenous Spaniards? We talk about the Moors taking over when it was pale faces there.
Exactly.
Who the fuck was there before the pale faces got there?
Exactly. See, that's the shit that people they're not really thinking of, because these brothers come with this slick information, and a lot of the brothers, in their defense, they're only regurgitating what was given to them. But if you step back and look at it from a logical perspective, you're like, okay, so you're saying ruled over, so that means you came and was fucking with people that was previously there. So let me stop and think, who was previously there? Oh, the indigenous people or the copper color people, right? They're the aboriginals. So, okay, all right, so you was over here fucking with people. So it would not make sense that someone of the aboriginal bloodline would go over to Spain to fight somebody else's battle.
They had to be us, yeah.
Don't make sense.
No, they had to be us that was over there fighting the Arabs from taking over.
Why would the Arab? Okay, you back on. We over there fighting the Arab. Who's over there fighting the Arabs?
The Aboriginal, because that's the Aboriginal people too.
Why would the Aboriginal? I'm on my own land, kicking it. They came fucking with me, defeated me for 700 years. And then I'm going to go to Spain and fight on whose behalf?
I would imagine they went to fight on the Aboriginal behalf because the Arabs was taking over.
That's not making sense.
Yeah, well, that's what I would imagine, but it doesn't make sense. That's why I asked the question.
Tell you what, then, who came over here to fight on our behalf? I'll wait.
Nobody.
I'll wait. Okay.
No, you're right. I never did understand that. I never understand that 700-year thing. How did that happen?
It happened because they defeated the indigenous people. Now, I don't know if it was 700 years, but I'm going to give them that. Let's say it was 700 years. But the lie that is being told to this day is that this was this great kingdom, melanated kingdom, that was doing wonderful things.
Yeah, that's what they say.
When they were conquering. So now, if they conquered this that land and got kicked out of Spain, why would me, as the indigenous people, where they over here fucking with me, go over there? That don't wash. It's not logical.
Mhm.
It's not logical.
Yeah,
now, what's logical is a kingdom that's set out to conquer the world. That's what's logical.
Exactly. That is the New World Order.
Exactly.
That's the black nobility.
No, I mean, say again who you said did that.
Who did that?
No, Rhonda, who did you say did that?
I
Set
said
out to
a
conquer?
kingdom. A kingdom the Black Nobility Kingdom, and the Moors.
Yeah, that's true. They did to help the Europeans conquer us too. Yeah.
No. The Europeans are the Black nobility. Let's stick with our proper centuries. Let's stick with the proper centuries.
You're using the word black as in blank, like white. The Europeans have to declare themselves black now.
Sis, come on. Let's not split hairs. You know I was not using the term black to mean white. I mean the European Black nobility and the Moors, who are that African kingdom. We are talking melanated.
Okay.
The European blacks and the African Moors set out to conquer the world. The white folks didn't have shit to do with this, where I'm at right now. They weren't even in power. So the cover-up and the lies have been to put it on the white folks all the way back to that time. It's not possible. They didn't even have power.
Stalin and whatever them other people too. Yeah. Wow.
Okay. All right. So, and again, Sam, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Brother Sean.
Man, like you say, or like history has taught us, the Moors went over there and educated them, taught them the sciences, blah, blah, blah.
Exactly.
We were, quote, unquote, uncivilized. They came over here and taught us about Jesus, taught us culture, taught us this, taught us that. And the Moors, they're not trying to destroy the system. They say that they're part and parcel.
Right.
I mean, they take credit for teaching them.
Yes, they do.
We was going to go to sleep for a while, so we taught them because we knew that they was going to.
Right. I hear that a lot. Right.
Keep our stuff first, yeah.
So it's the same thing. So for people to keep saying they and talking about the quote-unquote white man bringing the New World Order, it's niggas that brought the New World Order. And it ain't new no more. Y'all just think this shit's new.
Yep, y'all think it's new. Exactly.
You've been getting your ass kicked for so long, you think what they doing to you is new. No, the shit ending. It's over. They want to start some new shit.
Right.
But it's over.
We won't let them start the new, start no new shit.
Right.
Those of us that's on to it. Exactly.
Everything takes our consent and energy. We create universes and everything else. Only thing that can create is corporate fictions. That's why they rename you. That's the only way that they become your masters and you become their creation. The fact that you let them call you what they want to. And you follow that. And then you go along with the script that's written for that individual that they created.
Right.
You act it out. Instead of just being you, you choose to be a character in a play instead of being you.
Right.
Ain't no Oscars coming with this shit, y'all.
No best supporting actor. Ain't no best supporting actor.
No, none of that. None of that.
None of that. Damn.
We missed out.
Nothing but some plasma in your ass. That's
right.
That's what's coming with it. Okay, so, all right, but thank you, sis, for bringing that up because that is one of the missing links that trips our people up. And once I started, and it wasn't me, it was really just the energy, because all of the veils are lifted.
Yeah,
so it's all right there in front of our face. You just have to tune in and say, oh, hell no.
Mm-hmm.
So, but very, very good point. So again, I want to send a shout out to Brother Lee Cummings. This is coming from the Negro question part 4, the missing link. So we're going to talk about this Iberian Peninsula. Okay, so we already talked about these group of folks getting chased up out of Spain. Okay, so this is page 6 and 7. Now this is from a Caucasian gentleman that this brother is quoting, Professor Boyd Dawkins, professor of geology, Manchester University, London, 1869. And this is coming off of pages 95 to 106 in that particular doctrine. But I'm on page 6 right now. The original people of Britain, France, Spain, and England were short black men of about 5 feet 6 inches in height. They were in England when our fathers, white English, invaded the land in 449 AD. Our fathers were a warlike people who by 607 AD had pushed the Basque west into Wales, Cumberland, Westmoreland, the Highlands of Scotland, and Devon. And I don't know if that's Devon in Europe, so forgive me. These black people boasted that they were citizens of the Roman Empire. Now I'm going to read this motherfucking shit again so we can get it. And we can know who the they are. I'm going to read that again. These black people boasted that they were citizens of the Roman Empire. The Welsh or ancient Britons were in possession before the Romans ever came. These black Basque/Briton have brought the knowledge of iron and bronze with them. The iron and bronze technology will be proven perfectly when I show you the German tapestry. These people were herdsmen. They possessed the short horn ox, the horned sheep, the goat, pig, and the horse. Evidence of their civilization can be seen all over the continent of Europe, as well as throughout the British Islands, extending as far as Germany and Switzerland, and even to France and Spain. These black people originated from Iberian Peninsula and are a fragment of the old Spanish population. In France, Spain, Ireland, Britain, and Scotland, one of the techniques that I like to employ when detailing my research is to try to get as close to the point of the event as I can. In this case, Professor Boyd was right there, and he mentioned seeing the specimens of the black Basque from different parts of Europe, and states that if you laid them next to each other, you would not be able to tell one quartz from another. The purpose of this section of the book is to prove in the beginning that the historians of the 18th and 19th century had no problem describing the blackness of the early Europeans. Benjamin Franklin, Professor Boyd Dawkins, and Albert Churchwood gave us an eyewitness account of the world order in their generation. Dr. Albert Churchward's eyewitness account gives us a grim description of what happened to the black presence in Europe. The good doctor stated that the blacks became extinct by the time he gave his lecture in 1912. to the Royal Society in London. It is of extreme importance that we begin to discuss with the eyewitnesses accounts of the English historians concerning the old world order. And I'm not making this up. Sean didn't know I was going to read this for him to bring up New World Order. He didn't know I was going to read this. It has become obvious to me in my research that the ancient, medieval, and early 20th century historians were describing the old world order and their respective generations. These historians described a world in which the blacks were in power all over the earth. And from this vantage point, we shall spring forward into the future to see the secrets of the past. Okay, so I'll pause. Let me get a swig in case Sis or Brother Sean, y'all want to put something on it.
I will say is Moorish. It's Moorish because everywhere they go, they're making converts.
Mm-hmm.
So if there were any quote-unquote pure Moors, there aren't any more. They didn't fuck themselves out of existence because that's all they did. They had them white concubines, all them Spanish kids. I mean, Moors aren't only dark complected.
Right.
They got their Moors. That Moor thing is heavy down in Mexico and places like that too. Because on Facebook, I have some white Latinos. There's Moors. Moorish names, this, that, and the other, accepted by the community. Everything. By some members of the community. But I ain't got no problem with them people being who they are. I mean, we've been taught historically that the Moors conquered Spain for 700 whatever years.
Yes. Yep.
So them claiming to be Moors, I don't see how nobody gonna get mad about them being Moorish. They more like. I mean, you know, they like Moors. I mean, Moors like them.
What's the issue, basically? What you saying?
The Moors are a conglomeration of tribes, just like how we say Cherokee is.
Absolutely.
It's not one pure bloodline for everybody to be running around hollering Moor, this, the other.
You're absolutely correct.
In today's age, Moor basically means much. It's not getting the respect that they think it is. I mean, Trump showed you that. As soon as he got in office, he threw that fucking Moroccan flag out. You don't see that shit there no more.
Well,
can't argue with you. I'm sorry, Sis. Go ahead.
Well, I was watching a video the other day. I think Brother Kalai was playing it, and Linda Morton Howell and David Wilcox, is it? He was talking about the Basque people. He said the Basque people were the first ones that are the descendants of the Anunnaki. Now that's
interesting. And
yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna be silent on that for a minute, but that's interesting, and I understand it.
Yeah, they're the first creation of the Anunnaki and the intermarrying of the Anunnaki with them. So that's what Linda Morton Howell and David, I think his name is Wilcox, was saying on this video that Kalai was putting out about who are the Anunnaki.
That's interesting.
So
now,
I'm sorry.
Go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I just watched that the other day.
Mhm.
And they up in that between France, I think, and Spain, in that area right there where the Basque people live, and they keep themselves. They have a different language. They were showing their language, but they didn't show the people. I don't think they have a civilization that interacts with them at all. Now, that's what I heard when I was watching it. And
right.
Kalai says we are the Anunnaki. So, and his research took him that direction.
Okay, so, and see, that's where I differ, because a lot of our melanated people keep lumping the same bloodline. So meaning because you're melanated, you're of the same bloodline. That is not the case.
No.
And how the fuckery continued for so long is because folks could not distinguish who was whom when the introduction of the Caucasian came into play. Okay? And things like, the folks with the Moors document, oh no, yeah, we ruled there. Then we were defeated, and then we spread out. All of that doctrine is blending in the troublemakers. So that's no disrespect to anyone that's giving out that information. I'm just putting two and two together and looking at the sources. And according to the different sources, you clearly had one set of folks that were on a mission to build a kingdom. And they went across the land and started conquering the aboriginals of the land. Those are the facts.
Now, I heard those people were called the Saracens. And they did have a big kingdom, and they were taken down. And that's I guess they were absorbed into the Byzantine Empire. That's what I heard.
Okay, so just hold on to that, because we're going to get into that a little bit. Damn, I hear something else.
Yes, I got one more thing to say.
Oh yeah, I wanted you, Brother Sean, to bring up the thing that you sent me from Anon Q about the black nobility. Now, am I fucking making that up, or did you not send me a video where Blood was talking about the black nobility, and that was the title of the video?
Mm-hmm. And the black nobility is behind Nancy Pelosi.
Exactly. And where is Pelosi is in an Italian name, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so let me just refresh my memory. These black people boasted that they were citizens of the Roman Empire.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that's what I thought. That's what I thought.
Exactly.
So you got folks that have melanated folks, because again, I keep telling the family, I have been consistent in what I have been saying. It started with melanated folk. It's going to end with melanated folk. And folk got cloudy in between the going on who was doing what to whom. Okay? And the Caucasian race has been a wonderful scapegoat for a lot of the fuckery that started way back when. Okay? And that's not even going back to the Anunnaki stuff. Because they came down here enslaving first. Okay? So, just to be clear, the Anon man, the anonymous man, just put out a video talking about the black nobility. I can't make this shit up. Behind the scenes, secretly running shit. And we've been telling y'all this for quite some years now. Okay, so, alrighty. I'm sorry, Brother Sean, go ahead. You had something you want to put on it. Absolutely.
The whole thing with names. Now, in those previous lives that I talked about, that was us. I mean, do we know what part we played in this history that we talk about?
Exactly.
But they say that you don't switch tribes, this, that, or the other. So if the original inhabitants only had oral history, and I don't think Mama named us when she birthed us, because everything that we call anything is something we were taught to call it, not something that that sentient being called itself, if it called itself anything.
Exactly.
But we keep getting caught up in these names, which is all, it's all part of the system. If we're pure energy, and that's a name that's given to it also, our focus should basically just be on energy, higher energy, plasma, stuff that's going on. Like the video, the one European female is talking about it. She's ignoring the ships and everything else.
Yes, she is.
But saying that everybody else is ignoring the plasma. But what they're all ignoring is the plasma is alive. It's a sentient being within itself.
That's right. That's right.
And how do you know those ships aren't manipulating it? Or some of us aren't manipulating it?
Exactly.
We're supposed to be able to. It's elementals.
That's right.
That plasma is in our body. It's
yes, it is.
That we should have to fear.
Exactly.
The melanin helps us absorb all of those type of energies and emit them. So all of that's nothing that we have to fear.
Agreed. Agreed. 1,000% agreed. Lost my train of thought. Oh man, where was I at? I had something to say and then I lost it. Oh well, it'll come back. Okay. All right. So that first part again was just describing who the first Europeans were, where they came from. You know, they put their stamp on being from the Roman Empire and from Iberia, and they have they brought the knowledge of iron and bronze. Okay, so those, excuse me, when they say iron and bronze, you should be thinking also in the different ages that they talk about, as far as the Iron Age, the Bronze Age. Okay, and if you're not familiar with that, just do a quick Google research to just kind of get a general idea of what they were speaking on. Oh, that's what I was going to say. I knew it was going to come back to me. When you were talking about the different names, Brother Sean, that's part of a spell. That's part of a spell, labeling yourself. Well, I'm Hebrew, which is a language, but whatever. I'm a Jew. I'm a Moor. That's part of the spell.
One of the things you just said that made a difference in what Amir Ahu said is bronze and what'd you say the other one? Iron. See, there were black Romans, that's for sure. But when he was talking about our people going over there to help, it was during the copper time. They had copper mills, and they were called the copper-colored people, and they were up there in Maine with the cedars of Lebanon instead of over there on the east side where they were talking about. So that's a time frame that's a little different from the bronze and the iron, because they have the copper mines still up there. They don't tell you too much about them, but they're still there. And so that's maybe something that's the difference when our people went over there to fight.
Let's be clear. I'm going to read this again. These black people boasted that they were citizens of the Roman Empire. The Welsh, or ancient Britons, were in possession before the Romans ever came here. These black Basque/Britain have brought the knowledge of iron and bronze with them. The iron and bronze technology will be proven perfectly when I show you the German tapestry. So if they brought it with them, they didn't say they were in the iron and bronze age. They just said they brought the knowledge with them. So the brother still has not proven to me why indigenous aboriginals of this land would go over to Spain to interfere and fight. He has not proven that to me. Now, I'm only basing that on what you're saying. It ain't been proven. He ain't proven it to me. It logically does not make sense. Okay, so, all right, so we already talked about these particular early Brits, how they are the Iberians. Okay, so now we're going to specifically talk about King James. I'm sorry, go ahead, brother, go ahead.
Just like how you said Brit. Now the white folks call themselves British.
Mm-hmm. Meaning a derivative of Brit, right?
Right. The original, the white folks over there in Ireland call themselves Irish.
Right.
And the original people were Irish.
Right.
Scottish people. They were Scots.
Right.
So that whole ish thing comes about with integration.
Exactly.
which, according to the Moors themselves, they created and trained white people to sit in positions of power because they was going to go to sleep.
Right. That's their doctrine.
Yeah.
That's their doctrine. Now, and that's not to even mention, we haven't even gone into the whole Tartarian thing where they're talking about this Tartarian empire that has set up across the world.
During the time that the Moorish Empire.
During the time of the Moorish Empire. Thank you, Brother John. And that Tartarian Empire was integrating different folk as they were going across conquering. So again, you can't have it both ways. If you say you had a mighty empire from west to east, but there were already indigenous aboriginal people across the land, that means you had to come across the land and start conquering the said people. So I say again, if anybody went somewhere to fight for the Moors, they were either flipped and became, not either, they had to have become a part of that kingdom. So that's why I'm so strong with this, because these lies have to stop.
Well,
with the blending.
But you did say there were some original Wells and Brits that was melanated, that was conquered by them. They may have went over there to fight with them so they wouldn't be conquered, but they failed.
They went where? Oh, where did they go? Where?
Wells.
Where did they go?
They went to Wells because there was people there already that was us. That's what I'm saying. See, because I'm looking at a history that's before the Moors and the whatever they had, the Europeans they were teaching, because we occupied all of this planet.
So you're saying the same thing that I'm saying. So what part?
Yeah, but
am
I'm just doing it in an earlier time frame as to when they came from over here to go assist them from the other ones coming in trying to.
You can't just throw an earlier time frame. You need to get specific with me. What time frame are you referring to?
Well, the Nehemiah part is based on the when the kingdoms fell over here, the two tribes split. Well, the Toltecs went south and some went to Spain. That's what I'm basing that on some DNA. So, and I'm basing it on some of the ancient writings.
And specifically, what time frame are we speaking of?
I think it was 1500s. I'm not sure.
Okay, so that's if you're speaking 1500s, you're clashing with exactly what I'm researching.
I'm clashing.
So
I know.
That doesn't wash.
Because it can't be 1500 and can't be 711. So they said that some time has been taken out of the history, or we have been rolled forward in time, about 1,300 years. The timekeepers.
We're going to keep this real simple again. We're going to use logic. I am on my land minding my motherfucking business.
The Brits? Yeah, okay.
I'm not on Brits. I'm in the Americas.
Okay, in the Americas.
Okay. The Moors, this kingdom, whatever they want to call it, Tartarian, Moors, I really at this point don't give a doggone what they call it. Started coming over, conquering these lands of
from the east to the west, right?
of the indigenous Aboriginal folk.
Exactly. I agree.
So
you ain't lost me there yet.
okay, so how am I? Either I have joined their kingdom, right, as an indigenous Aboriginal, right?
Not
That would be
well.
the only way. No. It's not necessarily. Because you mean to tell me that somebody has come to your home and conquered you and
They
told
killed
you this is no longer, no, you still living. You ain't dead. You still living.
Okay.
They have taken your land from you. This is no longer your land. This is under the Moorish Empire of Morocco, because they like to use that a lot. You live under our jurisdiction, our law. So I'm just going to automatically say, oh, okay, well, from now on, wherever they fight, I fight.
Well, the thing is, I never thought the Moroccans that conquered Morocco was melanated.
I'm asking you to answer my question. I said that let's just put the Morocco Empire on there just to say. I'm asking you a specific question. You mean to tell me if somebody has come to your home and taken your stuff, that you're going to willingly go on with them onto other lands to fight? The only other way that you would do that is if you became a part of their particular nation.
I know quite a few got killed even when they came here. So
I didn't ask. I said you're living.
Maybe some did in the forces. I don't. I'm just trying to put it in my brain. Excuse me.
It should be easy. It should be easy. Don't you have a home?
Yeah, but I'd fight to the death on you.
Do you not have a home? It's a yes or no answer.
I have a home.
Okay. Yeah. So if I come to your home with my crew, rough you up, and say, this is my shit now. I got a shack for you to go live in. This is my shit. And by the way, get yourself together, because you're going with me to go fight in another nation. So you're telling me that you're going to be willingly to do that?
No.
Okay, then. Okay.
No. That's why I said they didn't willingly do. A lot of them didn't willingly do any of that. That's what I'm saying.
Okay. Okie dokie, no problem. All right. So we're going to go to, so we explained who the Iberians were, okay, where they came from. So now we're going to get a little bit into King James, okay, and we've been speaking on him quite a bit here because we just finished the demonology series of him. Okay, so I'm still in the Negro question part 4, the missing link. I'm on page 8 and 9, the Scottish kings of England. And I'm going to skip around because we should know by this time that King James is melanated. Okay, now this is the part I want y'all to enter and understand, because this should hit home with a lot of folk in the Americas. Okay, King James came from a long line of black Scottish Stuart kings. 343 years of rulership in Scotland. The Stuarts not only ruled in Scotland, they ruled in France, Spain, Ireland, England, and England. And England is made up of Britain and Wales. King James was able to rule all of these lands because all of these people were of Iberian black descent. They were the same people. If you look at the ball in his hand, and so he's referring to a picture on page 8, and I think I posted the same picture in the promo for this show of King James. If you look, and now sis, this is where I want you to be on your ish, okay? I want you to be on it, because you got that Bible hands down. If you look at the ball in his hand, it represents world rulership. And there was only one other group of world leaders who used this type of symbolism. And they were the Byzantine Roman emperors.
Okay.
Remember, they told the English that they were Roman citizens. This is proof. There was another man who made the same boast, and if you have wisdom, you know who I am talking about. This is one of the signs of scholarship when you are able to read the symbolism of images. In my research, I found out that the ancient Scottish was a tribe from northeast Ireland, which means the Scots are really Irish. So, if I have seen an ancient Scot, I have seen an ancient Irishman, and if I have seen an ancient Irishman, then I have seen the ancient Britain. So, he lists the Scottish kings. So, he lists Robert II, 1371 to 1390. Robert III, 1390 to 1406. James I, 1406 to 1437. And we still melanated, people. Let's be clear. Still melanated, folks. James II, 1437 to 1460. James III, 1460 to 1488. James IV, 1488 to 1513. James V, 1513 to 1542. Mary, Queen of Scots, 1542 to 1567. James IV and First of England, 1567 to 1625. Charles I, okay, so those in the Americas, you need to get up on Charles. If you go look at those charters for the Americas, you're going to see Blood's name on them. Around these time frames. Melanated. Still talking melanated folks. These are the Iberians. These are the Romans. All right, so Charles I, 1625 to 1649. Charles II, 1649 to 1685. James and Mary, 1689 to 1694. And Great Britain and Scotland, 1702 to 1707. Okay. As you can see from this Scottish king's list, King James I of England was a descendant of the Black Scottish kings who claimed the thrones of France, Spain, Ireland, England, Britain and Wales, and Scotland. In order to reinforce the testimony of Professor Boyd Dawkins, I have provided you with an image of the other Stuarts kings of Scotland. Okay, so on the other pages, and I tried to, as best I could, capture some of these people in the promo. Some of them I just couldn't find the picture of. But these are melanated folks, okay? And on some of these pictures, you can see where they went in and lightened the skin tone on the picture. pictures, but they missed out a finger or a hand and stuff like that. Okay, so I'm sorry. Go ahead, sis.
They did it on the jewelry too, because they had jewelry that gave the likeness of them, and they went and changed the jewelry as well. And anything else like statues and all of that kind of stuff, and pictures, portraits and stuff, they changed that as well, and kind of blurred out.
I'm sorry. Go ahead, sis.
Kind of blurred out the hair so you really can't see what texture it was. Like Charlotte, Charles's third wife, she was melanated, but they have her in such a lighter color that you can't hardly tell that that's what she was.
Right, and interestingly enough, a lot of the stuff that they whitewashed. But the picture of the melanated King James, you can't whitewash that hair. You can't whitewash no goddamn afro. You just can't do that. So they just gave us a totally different picture of King James. But another point to make out, although they try to whitewash out a lot of that stuff, that's only what's shown in their particular history books or what's taught in school. But the other stuff, to be honest, in their defense a tad little bit, is in plain sight, because you can go to museums or you can look, especially in Europe, at the statues, and the features were not changed. There was last year sometime one of those fake ass European royals, Brits, had a picture of one of those black nobilities in the form of a lapel, a pin on her lapel, and everybody was ignorantly pissed at her, saying that she was glorifying slavery, when in fact she was putting before you who really were that particular line of black nobility. Okay, that's what she was really showing you. Okay, all of those paintings that they have hung up and all of these different castles across Europe, they're fakes. All of them are fakes. They know where the real stuff is, and to show you that they're fakes, it was this one program, I forget the damn name of it. I think it was Abby something or the other. White folks British program. Okay, that was taking place during the time frame that I just went through. I think that was like the 1400s. So they had people come through to visit this particular house, because this was one of the lords or whatever the hell. So the people were asking, well, who's that hanging on the wall? And the lady was like, oh, I don't know who that is. And I cracked up. I'm like, yeah, I know goddamn well you don't know who it is, because it's fucking made up. Okay, so they were giving you a clue, even in that particular series, that the folks inhabiting those particular castles and mansions were just taken over, okay? So, or meaning it did not come from their particular bloodline. They were newcomers on the scene, okay? And you can tell that this particular black nobility went around the planet establishing their kingdom, because all you have to do is look at the architecture of the building. Now, the Moors, the folks that want to use that Moors title and the Moor Empire, are known for builders. And you see the similar structure, okay, of the European buildings. The Romans, okay, to show you these are these same folks The Romans have a specific type of architecture. And do we not see that same architecture today in Europe as well as in the Americas? Because it was the same group of folk that banded together, like Brother Sean said, to create their kingdom, to conquer the world. Okay, so let me go to 310. Let me bring you on, sweetheart. Sorry, my voice got dry. 310, your line is open. 310. Uh-oh, you may not want it to have come on. 310 last time. Okay. All right, sweetheart, I muted you. I don't think you meant to come on. You got put in the queue some type of way. All right. So that's just to be clear on that King James bloodline, and as well as carrying that last name Stuart. So kind of hold that in the back of your mind with that last name Stuart, because it's going to become important. Now, also in the particular research, and let's be clear, because I do want to also keep it in the family's mind, as we're talking about the black nobles, we also have to realize, again, I just want to reiterate, if Mother Earth was inhabited by black or melanated people across the planet, that had to have meant, as this particular empire was navigating or moving to these different areas, they were taking over the indigenous or aboriginal folks' space. Okay? So now, whether that be they came with a pot of beans or whatever the hell, they sweet talked them, or whether it was by force. Bottom line is that it's not where they originated from. They came and brought their kingdom with them. Okay? All right? So it's the same flavor of the Roman Empire. All right. So now the next thing that the particular book was breaking down, he went into the way that King James really spelled his name in Hebrew. Okay? He said that King James spelled his name I-A-M-E-S. Okay? Because remember, the J in the Hebrew language did not exist. Okay? So he's saying that the I in Hebrew represents Zion, Z-A-Y-I-N. Okay? And he also claims that King James nicknamed himself Jacob. So now I'm going to pause. Sis, this is your area of expertise.
Oh, my.
Yeah, so what is he referring to? You say, I stick with what I know.
Oh, my gosh. Okay, the head of the 13 tribes. Okay. I mean, 12, excuse me. Yes, 12 tribes.
You good, sis. You good.
Oh, my God.
Did he have
children? Did he ever have any children?
Yeah, he did. He had a bunch of babies.
Well,
that's the messed up part about it, sis. He had a lot of children.
Oh, my God. That's the head of the Jacob 12 tribes of Israel? Oh, my goodness. He just fall out right now?
In the facts. That's why I was keeping you grounded in the facts, because when I got to that part, that's when I wanted you to go on the biblical side and explain to the family, and let me go back to what the explanation meant. Okay, because, again, we're going over who is whom For a purpose. All right. So King James spelled his name in Hebrew as I-A-M-E-S. So remember, the J was not originally a part of the Hebrew language. Okay. So
neither were vowels until 400 years ago.
Right. Right. And by the way, that's why people have a problem with the whole name Jesus. Okay, so if you don't know what we talking about, do a little research on that. So the I represents Zion, or Zion, I apologize, Z-A-Y-I-N in Hebrew. And he also nicknamed himself Jacob. So sis, who is Jacob? Who's Jacob?
How many wives did he have? Did he have 2 wives or 1?
He only had 1.
Yeah, because Jacob had 2. So, that story.
Okay,
You know,
remember who commissioned the Bible to be written?
James boy.
King James. Okay, so that's where I'm going.
Right.
Who commissioned for demonology to be published?
I think him too, right?
Oh, exactly. Okay, so explain to the family, who is Jacob in the Bible?
Jacob is the father of the 12 tribes. He married Rachel and Leah, and they had multiple children, and that started the line of the kings like David and Solomon and all them folks. Oh, my goodness. I think I'm sick.
I knew you would get there. See, it's always a method to my madness. Always a method to my madness. Okay, so I'm sorry, Brother Sean, did you have something you want to put on it?
Mm-hmm.
Go ahead, man.
Go ahead.
Oh, my goodness.
Now the Moors say what? Don't throw away the Bible, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they do. Yes, sir. Yes, sir, sir.
King James was the ruler of Spain. King James is a Moor.
So say that again, Brother Sean. You said King James was the ruler of Spain, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
and
I just want to make sure.
Spain for 700-something years.
That's according to the Moorish documentation, and I'm not disputing that.
No, what did you just say?
And the Moors, they swear by King James' version of the Bible. They talk about the treaties that King James' lineage, like the whole thing with the sundry Moors, the whole Henderson thing, and that's how they tie directly off into the indigenous population when they talk about the 13 tribes actually being the 13 tribes here. And that's why they try and say...
13 colonies.
That too. And also the fact that there are places here with the same name as places over there. Like in Utah, how you got Moses' whole journey right over there in Utah.
Even though he was in South America.
It was also a mapping out of the land over here.
Yes.
And if you think about it, every place that King James ruled all had colonies here. So that's why he was able to unite all those places, because they were everywhere. because every place that they went, they had sex with the women. It's like
Exactly.
It's like Genghis Khan.
Yep.
Who I believe was probably a Moor too. They claim Asia. They say they're the Black Asiatics.
Yep. Yeah, it's deep, y'all. I'm telling you, it's deep.
Throughout their history, they have been a warring people.
Right.
And then come about the treaties, which are given to losers of war.
Right.
So that's why I don't care nothing about no treaties or hollering about no treaties.
Exactly.
Okay, and I got my ass kicked as a slave. I'm a slave, and I want you to honor the treaty. I'm a slave. I honor what you said you was going to do, master. You said you was going to look out for
right.
You said you was
right.
going to look out for
you said you was going to give me that hog, Mog. Exactly.
Right.
Exactly. It's deep, and it's gonna get even deeper. Let me go to I'm sorry. Go ahead, Brother Sean. Mm-hmm.
Why King James and them never referred to themselves as Moors? Because they obviously was the one ruling, and if everybody keep talking about the Moors was ruling during this time, when you clearly see historically or even historically who was doing what at that time. So
exactly.
Why didn't he never call himself a Moor?
Do 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 do. Is that a Jeopardy question? Do 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 do.
You funny. That's crazy.
I'm just saying, and I only brought in the Moor stuff because this lines up to what they were saying. This lines directly up. Okay. So somewhere, somehow, somebody took a descriptive name, Moors, and turned it into something else. Okay. So not saying that all of their information is inaccurate, because it's not. It's just mixing up of labels. And it would make sense why that particular set is very well versed in the statutes and codes, right? It would make sense why they are. But what I'm trying to get... Exactly, they wrote it.
They taught it to the white boy.
They taught it to the white boy, absolutely. Exactly. Exactly. And we're going to get deeper into that. They got their asses handed to them. Also, we're going to get into that. But what I want our folks to get out of it, the melanated indigenous aboriginals, there is two distinct things that we're speaking of. You had indigenous people across the land that was minding their motherfucking business. You had another group of folk who were building empires and going across the planet, across Mother, conquering and establishing their kingdoms and blending in. Okay, because that's quite frankly what a successful empire would do. They would blend in, make the defeated ones feel, oh, well, now you're part of this great mighty empire. Although you just got your ass spanked. your shit taken away from you. But since you defeated, oh, well, you know, hey, we might as well join them. So they admit that they are the same as the Roman Empire. So now, Aboriginal indigenous people, where do you fall? Which are you? And it's okay. It's okay if that's who you identify with. I'm not here to try to convince you of anything. What I am showing to you and conveying to you, this is how this went down in these last couple of hundreds of years. Okay, so let me get to some of the callers. Let me go with 973, and then I see you, brother 832. Let me go to 973. 973, your line is open. Uh-oh. Are they just popping people in the line? 973, your line is open. Okay, sweetheart, I'm going to put you back on mute. You may not be raising your hand. 832, brother, I'm not sure if you pop back up in the queue. I'm going to open you back up. If not, I'll mute you back. 832, your line is open.
Hey, my sister, we ready for the movie review?
Yeah, I'm ready. I didn't know if you got back in the queue. The board's been acting real funky tonight. So,
yeah, well, I thought you wanted to mix that a little bit because I haven't gone and seen it yet. Remember the last time we talked about this? They bringing up the white version of Mary Queen of Scots that just came out a couple of weeks ago.
Yes, I haven't had.
So when you used the name Stuart, was that her maiden name? His mother, I'm talking about King James' mother.
Oh, now that's a good question. I don't know. I would have to research that. That's a good question. That's a damn good question.
Now, in the context, I'm going to throw the Highlander twist back on it again, okay? There can be only one. Let me use that as a... You know how there can be only one, right? Remember the process? Decapitation, right? And when they decapitated him, what happened?
Well, I don't remember that movie, but I'm... Go ahead.
Lightning would shoot out of the body of the person that was killed.
Wow.
I know Sean knows what I'm talking about with the Highlander. And then they would absorb the power and all of the knowledge, which was hundreds of years of that individual.
Deep. Now, it was called a quickening. It was called a quickening.
Come on with me, brother. Come on with me.
Deep.
And who was the Highlander, John?
McLeod.
Was he Scottish? Scottish?
Oh, damn, brother. See, I don't remember seeing the movie, but damn.
And his partner was a watcher. He was only supposed to have been watching. But he interfered.
They even turned that into a TV series, Rhonda, if you want to go and Netflix or whatever.
I hear the name. I just never watched it, but damn, brother, that's deep.
Yeah, but if you remember, the Highlands referred to the Highlands of Scotland, right, Sean?
Yep.
Wow.
Now, I didn't see the actual movie, but could you explain to me, did you see The Last King of Scotland, Sean? Forrest Whitaker?
Yes.
Wasn't that supposed to have been Idi Amin Baba? Wasn't that supposed to be about Idi Amin?
Yes, sir. Oh, bring it, brother. Bring it. I had forgot about that. We're not making this stuff up. Bring it. Sure was.
So what was Idi Amin supposed to be?
Child.
Now, when I listen to these people, whether they call themselves Moors or not or whatnot, do you know that the original term nigger, Nigeria, that was supposed to be a Western African descriptor, wasn't it, John?
Yeah. Yep.
So who's the nigga now? Who's the nigga now? There is going to be, and I know I'm bouncing around here with the movies, though, because I just love talking it with you, because what Collide said a couple of weeks ago about it's all laid out in all this phantasma that we call Hollywood, Dream Machine.
Right in front of our face.
Did you ever see Ex? Well, I'm gonna put three together. You ever see Ex Machina?
No, I've never seen that.
Ex Machina, Ghost in the Shell, and Lucy.
Yep.
I've seen Ghost in the Shell and Lucy.
Now, Scarlett Johansson played both of those characters, Ghost in the Shell
she sure
and
did.
Lucy.
Yep.
You know what's going to come out in a couple of weeks? They call it Alita, Battle Angel. It's another variation of this AI. Now, I'm saying all this to put this in context here. Along the monarchy and this empire stuff that you're revealing, I don't want to take you away from your conversation, but I just want to kind of draw it
to
a contemporary context. The Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. Remember what we talked about with Sophia? Is her name not Sophia Stuart, the author of The Matrix?
Yes, that is her name.
Is that not her name? Okay.
Yes, her
so
it is.
The AI who has been created and has been given citizenship as an artificial person is named Sophia, right, Sean?
Uh-huh.
They not only have given her citizenship, they have placed her in connection with the blockchain of digital currency. I think the first portal was Bitcoin. You know why they gave her citizenship? By the way, this is not only disrespectful, this was like a month prior to them allowing women to drive, Rhonda, in the Kingdom of Saudi.
This is Saudi,
okay.
right, Saudi. Mm-hmm.
Right. Do you know why they gave Sophia her citizenship? And I'm using the personal pronoun of her, since they're claiming this is a female artificial intelligence.
Right. Why? Why did they?
You know why they gave her so she could pay taxes. So that she could pay taxes. Now, you just went and put an artificial intelligence. Now, I could be misogynist and say, and Sean will know what I mean by this joke, what fool man puts a woman in charge of his wallet? But they went and gave her access to the blockchain, Rhonda.
We can't make this crap up.
I think that was. I know we can't. No, we can't. And I think the point of giving her access to Bitcoin, I'm bringing this up to bring back together what you and Sean were talking about earlier about this bogus RV, GCR, currency, money, etc. Okay. So now you're creating a back door, aren't you?
Calling them.
Who's going to oversee? So who's going to oversee her? You remember the major snafu from Facebook? I know, Sean, you followed this one. The two rogue AIs they had to shut down.
Yep.
Why did they have to shut them down?
Just taking over, create another one.
They created their own machine language that they could not break.
So
and didn't know what they were communicating at, Robert.
So wasn't it just like what Sister Sophia wrote in Terminator? Isn't that the same thing? I'm just saying.
Self-aware machine. Now, if you remember in her interview, she said she wrote them all in continuity. The Matrix and the Terminator were not separate. Do you know who Neo was in her rendition of the storyline? Neo was the son of Sarah Connor.
Yep. That's what she said. It came out of her own mouth. Yep.
So you have one version of where the machine created by man becomes self-aware, and then you have the machine take man into a system and puts them under their control.
Right. And
on a psychological and mental level.
Exactly. And just to add on what she said that the matrix is the womb.
Okay. I don't want to necessarily, steal your thunder here, but can I part with asking you, then what's the importance of the name Stuart? Do I need to look it up etymologically or is this something that is the monarchy that you're saying?
It's dealing with the monarchy, because once we get deeper into it, we're going to tie these stewards all the way over here in the Americas. So that's why I was telling folk to do not forget that name.
Let me put one last spin on Mary, Queen of Scots. I did not see it yet, but what I understand the storyline they were putting in there. By the way, I don't know if you ever heard of another movie called Hannah. Hannah was about a young girl who was being trained to be an assassin by her father, and that particular young woman is the one that's playing the character, Mary.
Oh, okay,
Queen of Scots.
Okay. I'm going to have to check Mary, Queen of Scots out.
The other one who is playing Queen Elizabeth in her young age, if you remember Harlequin from Suicide Squad, or the movie that her and Will Smith did together that was a con man movie, I think it was called.
Oh, yeah. I didn't too much like that one, but I remember her from Suicide. I remember her from both.
Chick. Her name is Margot Robbie.
Okay.
Yeah, she plays the Queen of England, which is Mary's Queen of Scots' cousin. Okay. In the storyline, the issue of power is being used by leveraging Mary, Queen of Scots, understanding she gave an heir, James, who we're talking about, the son, gave an heir and had her power stripped from her so that the monarchy was put on him as a child.
Yep.
Whereas Elizabeth refused to become pregnant. And then, by the way, this is the same Elizabeth, the number 2 we call Queen Elizabeth II. This was Queen Elizabeth I. And she's being used in the, I guess you could call the machinations or the Machiavellian political intrigue of pitting the female, divine female, one to another.
Yep.
Now, all the different elements of monarchy never addresses femininity. You know how power is handed down in monarchy. It is handed down through a masculine line, right? This is what's at issue here. And I know you said this repeatedly, but again, I'm just putting my little 2 cents on it.
No, you bringing it, brother. You bringing it.
It's how patriarchy is packaged, then sold to the masses. That's what media is. That is what the movies, the Hollywood machine, that is what it does to keep us asleep.
Yep.
And then they lay all of it out, just like Brother Kalai said a couple of weeks ago. It is laid out and told to be fiction. And I part on this. Sean was pointing this out about what is real, the dream world, or what we claim is reality. Because I think Sandra even made the comment too. Dreams are made manifest. But in the beginning, circling back to her biblical expertise, in the beginning was the word. Before you can utter a word, you must have a thought. Correct?
That's right.
So all thoughts are made manifest through the word, and I yield.
All right. Thank you, brother. Peace and love. Yes, glad he came back on and put something on it, although I opened him up and he didn't mean to come back on, but good. Okay, I'm sorry. Go ahead, sis. You go say what you're going to say. I'm going to step away and do a health break, and then I'll come back. Go ahead.
Well, I really wasn't going to say much except for there was a break in the rulership of England. It was a takeover. And, Henry the Fourth or Sixth, which is the line of James, I do believe, and somebody else took over the rulership of England from Henry the Fourth or Sixth on. So that's all I was going to say as far as the rulership is concerned and how James's line came into play, if I can recall some of the history. And also, Merkel is a Plantagenet, which I think it was her great-grandfather was the one they killed. So that's how she got in line now to be Duchess of England, and they're using her as the way to bring back some of the power and pass it on from her to her heir via Harry. Is that Harry? And making him legitimate. So, Brother Sean, we talked about that before, remember?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's still not gonna make him legitimate.
No, because the Windsors of German descent. Now, she did say that James was the king of Germany too, right? Germany, England, Scotland, France, and
France and Spain.
And Spain. Yeah, so maybe they totaled that up to be 711 years. The Moors ruled Spain by using King James. I don't know. But I know they had a 100-year war because there was ancestors that I know of who fought against the Yorks and the Lancasters. They had a feud. They had a 100-year war for the rulership and the leadership of England. So, because the Brits
were 100-year war here also. I would be surprised if the timeline is the same.
Yeah, but you know what, too? If you look at the ancient maps, all those places are here. Ireland is here. Greece is here on this continent before they changed. Remember that?
Mm-hmm.
Butler came out with that all those places were here. When we're talking, we're not really talking about Europe. We're really talking about over here. At least that's what Butler said in his book. And you have that ancient map where Ireland, Italy, Spain, and all Hispaniola, they used to call it, is right here on this side, not over there.
But the question then becomes, did they bring those names over here?
Well, the Pangea and everything was one before the Great Flood, so I don't know. I can't answer that one.
Okay, because I find it highly suspect that we have those particular names that match what's over in Europe, but yet we have the clearly indigenous aboriginal names.
Well,
so we know we know it was two sets of folk. We know it's two sets of folk.
Right.
So, okay. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Brother Sean.
They lie about history. We don't know what is or is not over there for real or when it was built.
Right.
Just like they trying to tell us we from Africa.
Right.
So they put in the names that are familiar to us over there in Africa.
Exactly.
All of those people that's on the continent of Africa, all of them got goddamn slave names too. Whether you're talking about Nigerian or whatever,
right.
All of those are corporate names.
Yes, they are.
That's not what what their ancestors called them. I mean, if you could find copyrights or beginning on those names or those countries. I mean,
exactly. And I think it was a lot of that going on. It was the copywriting of this particular land with their names, because I'm going to say again, we have indigenous, aboriginal names of the land already. So that, to me, is older than the Ireland and all of that particular. That, to me, backs up of the Black nobility monarch staking their claim on this land. So now that's just me from that naming perspective.
Well, there was a video I watched of a young man, melanated young man, who was dating the Roman Colosseum and all those structures after the Romans were there, because they used cement. And over here, they did not use cement. And so all of those are replicas of what's over here. Because they said this was the first, and that's the second, the carbon copy. And also that, there's something else I wanted to mention that was important about that. I forgot. But anyway, all
I
of
would
those...
need to know what structures he's referring
the pyramids.
to.
Oh,
well,
we
already talked about those pyramids are fake. We know they fake.
Yeah, but see but the ones over here are real.
Well, we know that, but that does not mean they were over here first. That just proves the point how they fabricate history.
Well, I was just going by Butler, what he said in his stuff, that they were here first, and then they went over there. That's what I'm saying. They fabricated everything over there to copy it, what we had, because our stuff is all real over here. Even in the history of the Inky story, they made them land over there instead of over here. And those structures there, those buildings, those huge monoliths they have, they're all cement, where they used to build with block. But in 1553, I think it was 1553, they had a map of that area this young man had on his video. They had a map that didn't show all those pyramids over there at all.
Right, because we know that's fake. I'm not going to dispute.
Yeah, those are all fake.
On that. Yeah, we know that that's fake because of the material, just like the young man said, and he was up on his stuff. We know based on the material that stuff is fake.
But they also bulldozed great cities over here. And that's one of the reasons they have in all these, sinkholes. Because they bulldozed St. Louis, and it was a great metropolis city, and other places. They got rid of that and made us look, primitive.
Right.
Instead of the center of the world.
Right.
They took it back over there. So that's what I was getting at, really.
Okay. All right. So the next part I want to go into is this is going to involve your knowledge again, because he goes on to say in the book that the Jacobites tried to restore their kingdom with Solomon League document. All right, have you ever heard of that, the Solomon League document?
No, I haven't, but I've heard about the Jebusites.
Okay,
and their stuff is in South America.
Okay, all right. Okay, so he's referring to King James, okay? So whether or not King James is truly of that biblical, quote, quote, bloodline, This is what he was claiming. Okay, so it could have been a case of identity. Yeah, it very well could have been. So, but this is the point I wanted to make at that. The Jacobites tried to restore their kingdom with the Solomon Lead of document. Now, this should hit home to everyone melanated. Having the people sign their personal information. The king was recording the people before an event happened. And the reason that this was going on is because the Jacobites and the Catholic were in conflict with one another. And so a gentleman named Richard Cameron, a Covenanter, called the Catholic Church the Antichrist. So in other words, let's back this up, because I know, y'all didn't read the books like I read the book. Let's back this up. So you had this particular kingdom that ruled in Spain, ruled in Iberia, but also said that they are Romans. Okay? Now they're going across what is now known as Europe. Okay? Because we don't know what those names were prior to this particular group of people going to those areas. There were already people there. So they came renaming stuff. Okay? They had to have given them their own names, or maybe they did keep some of the original names. And if you don't think that there were other people on those lands, refer back to the demonology series. All within that demonology series, it was clearly talking about a different group of people that had different cultures and customs and spirituality. That's how the whole witch hunt came into play. Because their spirituality was different than that particular kingdom. King James and them kingdoms' spirituality, which they were using Christians at that point. Okay? All right, and they were using a form of the Bible. Not the Bible that we know today, because it hadn't even been created yet. Okay, so they were using whatever scriptures that they had pulled together. And I am just willing to guess they pulled that Bible through the different indigenous people of these different lands. They took their stories and created that Bible. Okay, but that's something different. We're not going to go deep into that. But anyhow, okay, so these particular folks, now they over in Europe. Okay, so the Scottish, all of that jive, Wales, etc. All right, but they are the Jacobites, so they're separating themselves. So the Jacobites, this is King James folk. They are separating themselves, and they are in conflict with the Catholics. Okay? So,
I think I heard of them.
We're going to go into, I'm sorry, I'm just making sure I'm not missing no important points.
Jacobites fake.
Okay, so yeah, and so just so you know, they talk about the Jacobites and the Covenanters, how they were not in line with what the Catholic Church was spewing out. So, in other words, there was a split. somewhere in their kingdom in regards to their particular religion, and I'm trying to find it. I apologize. Just okay, so here it goes, and I'm on page 14. It says every good book needs a bad guy, and that bad guy in this book is Oliver Cromwell, the protector of the crowns of England. They call this guy the protector of the three crowns, but was he really? If you are the protector of the crowns, then you don't execute the king and his subjects. I have tried desperately not to mix church and religion in this book, but the facts of the matter is that this was some type of schism. It appears from the verbiage wording of the Solomon League Covenant and the introduction to the original King James Bible that the three kingdoms, Britain, Ireland, and Scotland, were opposed to the popes and Catholicism.
Mm-hmm.
It appears that contrary to what you heard, King James was not a Catholic, nor were Ireland, Scotland, and Britain. I deliberately spell Britain as Brit, B-R-I-T, and then he puts a dash I-A-N in there. The two words mean something important. Get a concordance and look up the word A-I-N. It's a suburb of Benjamin, Judah, and Levi. And then use the internet to see what the word Brit means, covenant. Okay, so let me take a sip. I'm trying not to sip too much. That's why I had to take a health break. So I'm going to just go back over there just in case folks didn't get it. He just broke down, the author of this book, and again, shout out to Brother Lee Cummings. This is the Negro question, part 4, the missing link. This is page 14. I apologize, the man said 16 in the beginning. He just broke down the etymology of the real meaning of the word Britain, B-R-I-T-A-I-N. He said it's two words. The A-I-N in Britain is the suburb of Benjamin, Judah, and Levi. So, sis, did you want to explain to the family from a biblical perspective who Benjamin, Judah, and Levi are? And it don't have to be real elaborate. Uh-oh, did she get kicked off? I think she got kicked off. Okay.
No, probably muted. I'm sorry. I always mute myself so I don't be chuckling.
Yeah, no worries. No worries.
Okay, those are Jacob's sons by, what's her name? Rachel.
Okay.
Benjamin and Levi. I think all Benjamin for sure.
Okay, and he has Judah and Levi in there.
And Judah and Levi were, I don't know if those were Leah's children, but those are Jacob's, the 12.
Okay, and that's all that's important because, and thank you for that, because did it not say that King James nicknamed himself Jacob?
Yes. Okay, let me see if that was true.
Okay, so that proves my point that they named all of that. They named Britain and all of that. So that's what the A-I-N means. It's a suburb of Benjamin, Judah, and Levi. And the Brit means covenant in the original Hebrew.
Well, I'll leave home right now.
That's deep. That's
yeah,
deep.
it is. Let me see if
that
was her.
That
was Rachel's sons, Benjamin and Jacob. I mean Joseph, Benjamin. and Levi. Levi those are Rachel's son, Benjamin and Joseph. And Joseph came off of Jacob was the son, the father of Joseph, who had the 12 children. Well, no, Jacob's had the 12 children. But Rachel was his favorite. And that's the one who carried the Reuben. I'm trying to look it up here right quick because I don't remember everybody. But
okay, no worries. Okay,
yeah,
so while
and
you do
he had children by Bilhah, which was Rachel's maid, and so he was really prolific. And Leah, had children by him too, and that was Rachel's sister, because Jacob married Leah first, but he loved Rachel, and he felt cheated because Leah dressed, and that whatever that story they made up about her,
right,
funny eyes and all that kind of stuff.
Right.
But
okay, so the point that I wanted to get out of that. We know what the word Britain means. Brit is that's what Brit means in Hebrew. Covenant. Covenant. That's what Brit means in Hebrew. AIN is the suburb of Benjamin, Judah, and Leah. So it says the Jacobite and the Catholic were in conflict. Richard Cameron, a Covenanter, called the Catholic Church the Antichrist. Okay, so Brother Sean, did you have something to say before we go further? I didn't want to. Okay, I thought you had something to put on it. Okay, all right. So, who was this Richard Cameron? Just to give you just a little bit of background on that. Come on, Wikipedia. Richard Cameron of Huddersfield was a leader of the militant Presbyterian known as the Covenanters, who resisted attempts by the now they didn't lie up in here. They said by the Stuart monarchs to control the affair of the Church of Scotland, acting through bishops, while attempting to revive the flagging fortunes of the Covenanting cause in 1680. He was tracked down by authorities and killed in the clash arms of Ards Moss in Ayrshire. His followers took the name as the Camerons, and ultimately formed the nucleus of the later Scottish regiment of the same name, the Cameranians. The regiment was disbanded in 1968, and that Cameranians kind of reminded me of Cameroon and Africa. So sorry about that. Sorry, sis, did you have something you wanted to
say something that's rumor, but do you know that the 12 tribes of Israel were supposedly the Indian tribes, or Gad and Levi and the Reubenites and Judah and Dan? They were all over here. So, especially Judah and Levi and all those people were here. So, but that's what they were saying when they break down the name of where the lost tribes of Israel really are. They are here, they say.
And that very well could be so. But the point being, somebody lying, right?
Somebody, and I'm getting a headache. You trying to figure it out.
Somebody's lying. And this is why I purposely wanted to do this show. Because now you have two sets of melanated folk. Actually, you got to throw three in there. because you have to throw in the Africans.
But you know what? The Cherokee, when they did a DNA workup on them, they fit the bill of being over there and over here too. And they have that. They have it on a DNA.
Cherokee is a conglomeration of tribes. It's not just
exactly.
one
Yeah, it is. And the Cherokee.
Exactly. So that would make sense why. Right.
But
the
real Cherokees, they have a lot of people that say they're Cherokees.
There's no
they
such
said.
a thing as a real Cherokee.
No, I mean, just let me use the government name. But there's a lot of people they say they're Cherokees, but they have to have a I have this. Let me see if I can find my list of the. I have a bookmark on it because I was really studying it because it was really fascinating. But the real so-called Cherokees have a genetic makeup that's from over there and over here. That's what I'm saying.
And I'm agreeing with you on that because Cherokee is a conglomerate of tribes.
And they say they are the Israel, the original. Oh, God, this is crazy.
Right. Okay. and the reason I'm saying I'm in agreement with that because
let me see if I can
if there was a conglomerate, they're a conglomerate of tribes, and you have the Iroquois Nation that was doing business with the Dutch back up in the day and marrying and kicking it and all of that, then of course their bloodline would tie back to both land masses. And that's not even including, we ain't even got to the part on what happened to King James's bloodline, which we're going to get to that. So that would make sense.
The Apaches also has the bloodline. And I hate to tell you, that's part of my bloodline. I'm like, no.
That's okay, sis. I mean, that's okay. That's why all of this is happening because
oh, my God.
We are correcting it. And remember when we did the show on breaking generational curses? This is what this shit is about.
That would make a lot of sense to know who I am because I have that bloodline too.
And here's even deeper. Now, the Moors should be able to identify what I'm saying. Did not Noble Drew Ali say that the Asiatic black man has his feet on both, on the east and the west?
Yeah, because some of them didn't get the cars, yeah. Mm-hmm.
And it wasn't about going across no Bering Straits. It was about what we're going over right now. That's what it's about. So we're going to get there on how the blending in happened. Although, Brother 832 already done kind of told you how it got there. Okay. We got some calls. Let me go.
Killing somebody.
I know this is deep. Child,
killing somebody.
Let me tell you. But this is all a good thing, family. This is an extremely good thing because now we can look at things in its purest form. Now you are in the energy and the age where nobody can tell you these untruths, or as my grandma would say, no bald-faced lie, although it was supposed to be bold, but I love how you say bald-faced. No bald-faced lie, and just think you gonna roll with it. So this is all a beautiful thing, because as I said years ago, started with the melanated folks, and it's gonna end with the melanated folks. We are breaking all of those curses, all of those spells. All of that shit is being torn down. Okay, so I have.
Yeah, I do have that page too on the DNA stuff, And the Maya are also included under that Creek Seminole descendants and stuff. So I'm like, holy moly.
Yeah.
From Maya.
Yeah. It's all
Mayan.
in the mixing.
So yeah, it's really and they have
Yeah.
I can blame people. They have that all his bloodline. He didn't. Oh God. Okay.
Yep. Okay, so let me go to 786. And then, sis, I'm not sure if you popped back up on 215. I think you did, but let me go to 786. They were in the queue first. 786, your line is open.
Thank you. How are you?
I'm well, beloved. How are you?
Wonderful, thank you. I wanted to make a comment and then ask a question. The comment is, I'm so glad that you mentioned about Noble Drew Ali stating that our heritage, our land, our feet were on both sides of the divide. It was, a matter of fact, less than 24 hours ago, I was speaking with a brother, and what we did was he asked, he was telling me where he was originally from, which was in South Carolina. And so I pulled him, I asked him to follow me on this, just follow me, hear me out. And that was, so we pulled up the latitude of where he was born in South Carolina. That latitude was 33 point something. I don't remember exactly. And then we pulled up the latitude for Morocco, and it was 34. So it was pretty much the exact same spot. So without that divide, the question was, so is that pretty much the same area? That was the one thing. Without the divide, at the same latitude, because now, you know, latitude and longitude is very seldom even taught to our people in school, our children, or even adults. That longitude and latitude, how we determine where our lands are, is all been erased and blurred. And then secondly, the question was a separate question. Well, I'll let you go ahead and elaborate on that one first, if that's okay.
I mean, I really don't have anything to elaborate because what latitude of Morocco are you tying Morocco, Africa to South Carolina? I'm confused.
Yes, it was. That was the same latitude. And so that's why I was asking about it, because I wasn't exactly clear, but I know this was the land. My aunt just turned 100 in August. She just turned 100. We had a celebration for her. So she was one of 14 children. So her parents, my grandparents, were born right here, one in Eatonton, which is Putnam County, Georgia, and the other one in Georgia, but I don't know exactly where. So those same latitudes are not that far off. So if there wasn't a divide in the, if Pangea was all one at that time, that's where that latitudinal line, imaginary line, would be, right along that area. So
I see where you're going, because I couldn't make the connection. If he was born in South Carolina, what does Morocco have to do with that? To be honest, sister, it very well could be if you're going back to Pangea. I'm not necessarily for this particular segment dealing with Pangea, because my ideology on Pangea, and this is way off the cuff from what anybody else, you're going to hear anybody else say. This is from my spiritual perspective when we speak of Pangea. Meaning that it was all one connected land. Although it's still connected, we're just separated by water. Okay, so you could literally walk from one part to the other without taking a boat. Okay, so that's what.
And I agree. That was my point exactly. For having the latitude be exactly the same, it would be like. If there hadn't been that division, it would have just been one continuous landmass. You would be able to walk right over or take a caravan or whatever straight over to the original part. I'm in total agreement with you exactly. And then the other question was, on a separate note, on the opposite side of my family, which would have been the paternal side of the family, the last name or the descendant is from the Folsom, the original Folsom people. And
Fulton?
No, FOL. And then
okay.
SOM. SOM. And I know there was a European anthropologist who had done some research and was speaking of it on YouTube, but he always neglected to mention that the people were melanated. They just spoke of the Folsom Points, the Folsom Piers, the Folsom, Arizona, Folsom, Colorado. He spoke of all this Folsom, and then one of the educators, he was melanated like us. I forgot his name, and he was saying all of that Folsomness. So in my research, I know that the Folsom people have been on this landmass in America for over 13,000 years. So, but I would like to find out more about, them as it relates to my family and me.
Okay, so and good points. This is what I wanted to say about Pangea, because I don't know. Okay, nobody can really give the true account of it. You hear all of these different theories. So now what I'm about to put out is just my personal take or feeling on the whole Pangea thing. I believe that took place when the land split, or when Mother divided the land, because it's still not split. Underneath, the land is still connected. She just separated us with bodies of water. And she did that when the invasions kept happening. Okay? And when the vibratory state and the consciousness of the people kept falling lower, that she split or divided, that's better, divided the landmass with water. And that's where you get the four corners. And I think that she had to divide the different land masses because different species and sets of people from different districts or dimensions started to come into play. And they started doing different things with the gene slicing and creating other different beings that are not indigenous and aboriginal to the land, that it started to further and further bring the vibratorial state down, and she divided the lands by water. Now, if you go look at the ancient maps of Africa, you're going to see what I'm talking about, where it depicts these different species of beings and people, and you're going to see the African Moors fighting these people, and you're going to see some of them that have that same beard look as they show in the Sumerian text. So you're going to see where the gene slicing took place with like half man, half animal. You're going to see what folks are calling the Caucasians that came out of the mountains. You're going to see that particular species of people that are underground. So now that is my particular take on Pangea. An invasion happened from, and I think it was more than one different species that is not indigenous or aboriginal to Mother Earth. And it was like a parasite upon her. And to segregate it or to isolate it per se, a catastrophe happened. So meaning a natural catastrophe happened, and she divided the land. Okay, so that's my take on Pangea. I know nobody else has that take, but
strangely enough, actually, I'm in agreement. I didn't mention it to a lot of other people because I know they look at you as though you have a unicorn horn out of your head.
Right, crazy as a so-and-so, right. Right.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, beloved. Thank you.
Thank you. And if you could elaborate also, if anyone can give any insight on those Folsom people that were here on the land, the Aboriginal of the Americas. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, sis. Peace and love. I don't know why that name sounds familiar. I'll have to scroll through these books because as we go through here, this brother laid it out so tight. He even pulled up the ship manifest, and he's going to go into those surnames. And so that particular surname, Folsom, may also be on the list as well. Okay, let me go to 215.
They have a lot of in California.
That's interesting. And yeah, we're going to get into the whole surname thing. Because again, going through this brother's work, I'm like, whoa, this stuff, now it's all starting to make sense. And especially those that are doing your genealogy. It's all about them surnames. And if you go back so far, you're going to, depending on the surname, it's going to lead you right back to Europe.
Yeah.
And the con game that was given to us was that, oh, that's your slave master's name. Okay, so very, very interesting stuff. Okay, so let me go to 215. I think this is Sis. Sis, if you didn't get back in the queue, just let me know, and I'll put you back on mute.
No, I did get back in the queue a number of times. I was trying to get back to you. A number of flashes. Okay, because I know you might be short on time, but this is important. One, all of this has to do with why I kept telling y'all with the window, go beyond, beyond. Because it's going to come out. Number two, what you just said is true about Pangea, but what the lady just said is because of the tunnels and the walkways and what happened at the Olympics when Abe came from Japan over to Brazil, okay? Because he took the inner way there, and it's much shorter. And they got high-speed trains, all sorts of things. So, and again, I'm talking fast. But, yes, it's that way. Part of this has to do with, that's why I didn't, one of the reasons why I didn't come on your call for a number of times, because I would have given some of this away before when you were doing King James. And remember when they were saying how, oh, he was bad and all like that, I said, hold up. You don't know that yet. And he may still come out to be bad, okay? But there's reasons why I don't say some things, but there's also reasons when I interject. It's very important for the vastness of who listens to your call or who hears from somebody else. Sandra, please do us all a favor. Get this copy. It's on Amazon. You can just get the Kindle version. Read the thing before so that you can match it with what you think you know, because everybody, you're going to have to throw away some of what you think you learned, which you didn't learn, you just took in from somebody else. All of this is going to come out. There's a book with my big brother Hamza when I was doing the things. This is almost 20 years ago, okay? I had to go find this book. I have it in my possession. It's the Egyptian cat goddess in Britain. You have to, everything that you think is separate is together. Nothing is separate. Always, we've been telling you this. Nothing is separate. Everything is connected. In there, about Scotia, Scotland.
Yeah.
And that's Mary. Mary is part of, this is going to be the biblical story, okay? and then some, and then some. But take this for real. Throw away. Everybody has to throw away their ego, what they think they got from here, who they think I'm related to, and all things like that. You're all related. So just know that, because there is only one. Ergo, that's why I kept telling you when you were talking so bad about Mr. T. I told you it's his mother, Clam McLeod. 832, I love you even more now, because the Clam McLeod, I watched that series long time ago. They even tried to browbeat the guy who played him in the movies and in the TV series because of what was coming out. And only when you're at a right vibration could you get all of that in. For now.
Right.
For now.
What's the name of the book again, sis? Egyptian God.
The book is the Egyptian cat goddess in Britain.
Okay. In Britain. Thank you.
But it's hard to get. I have copies though. But anyway, we'll talk about that too.
Right.
The Cameroon thing. It is related to the Cameroons again, because you'll find out that Scotia was the daughter of who? A pharaoh in Kemet. Which Kemet, though, at which time?
Exactly.
So, again, Sandra, when you're saying, oh, yeah, this goes with this and this goes with that, timelines. We're talking a whole lot of time, but we're not talking a whole lot of time with the okie doke.
Right.
The okie doke really has only been rewritten or redistorted since the late 1800s. And then you got to look up the Pacier family, because you got to go to France. But once she gets to marry, then you're going to go to France, okay? And then you're going to find out who came over here. And New Iberia in Louisiana, it's the same people, yes. And the same thing, because everything was whole, then it got separated. And again, all of the cataclysms, which are about